Yeah, yeah. I just be vibing. I just vibe. The best music. Just sitting here returning some emails, you know, getting along with the workday, but it is my lunch hour, so I thought I'd do the Trigger Mike show. How y'all doing? How are y'all doing? This lovely June 1st. It is June 1st. It is officially halfway through the year of 2023. Damn, that went by fast. I used to say life is long. I used to correct people when they said life is short, but now that I see that these months and weeks just fly by like very quickly, I'm starting to rethink that position as I grow older. Seems like I never have enough time to do anything. These days just keep on flying by. I don't think I've even looked at the calendar since like May 13th. So to see that it is now June 1st, a lovely Thursday, YouTube Thursday. Tonight is Lapeef Let's Talk. Favorite day of the week on YouTube. I know it's some of y'all favorite day as well. Shout out to the Lapeef Let's Talk show, which will be on tonight. But let's talk about the Trigger Mike show today. Hopefully, this is your favorite show in the daytime. All right, I try my best to bring it to y'all. But anyway, greetings and thanks to everybody in the chat and everybody that wants to partake in this particular discussion today. Greetings and thank to you for coming through. Yes, I'm still a little bit under the weather. You're going to hear that, but we're going to rock out and make it do what it do either way. Shout out to the viewers nationwide and international. We got people in Canada watching. We got people in New Zealand, Australia, UK, Africa. Much appreciation and thank you for your patronage. Woo! We just going to keep it moving. Make sure as you come into the broadcast today, you hit the like button. Smash that like button. All right, y'all are notorious for just coming through and not showing love. The like button is free right now. Let's get it. We got 26 people watching as of this very second, so I need 26 likes. Let's go ahead and hit that like button right now. It is free. Show your support. I know you want to. All right, so what's going on, people? How y'all doing on this lovely Thursday? How are y'all doing? Getting back into the swing of things. Some of y'all might just be starting to get your engine started at work. 3-day weekends are a killer because a regular weekend is a killer on a Monday, but a 3-day weekend, I really don't want to do work. I'm just waiting for Friday to come around so I can get off again, at least from, the day job. So at least from the day job. But that's what's up. Shout out to the sponsor, Tej Hanley. 30% off along with a free gift. The link is in the bottom of the description. So make sure you go ahead and hit that link and get your father, your husband, your brother, your son, anything for Father's Day. All right. So that's a great gift. If you want to think about the men in your life, think about their skincare. They'll love it. Give them a gift that maybe some men don't think about. Not a lot of men are too into their skincare. That's a great gift. I was really impressed when I started seeing the products they had for men and things that type of skincare can do for our skin. I had a problem with folliculitis, the razor bumps underneath. I've gotten stuff to take that away over the years. Also had a problem with face wash, over drying my skin. I got some good stuff that took that away. So, yeah, dudes will be amazed what good skincare products can do for you and how it has your skin radiating. Because men like to look good too, don't we? So don't leave us out. Go ahead and grab that Tej pack. 30% off along with a free gift. The links are in the description. Shout out to the chat. Who we got today? But before we do that, if you would like to show your support to the show and the Lapeef Network, you can do so by form of super chat. Those are always welcome. And if you are watching after the broadcast is over, go ahead and send a super thanks. Send a super thanks if you like anything I say, any points I make, or the panelists make. These shows thrive off of your support. We can't keep doing it without your support. So please make sure you're watching each and every broadcast. Make sure you are subscribed to the Lapeef Network and make sure that you always send us support when you can. We appreciate any support you can give. Throw us a super chat. That is the best way to support, and we always appreciate it. And shouts out to you for that, those of you who have been supporting us since day one. We appreciate that. Well, who we got in the chat today? Let's say what's up to him. Dale Matthew, always in the building. What's up? Trigger Mike is here, of course. MS Best, how you doing? Hey, hey to you. The black question mark early with the comments. Curtis Moore, how you doing? It's gonna be a good show. You know how we get down. It's gonna be a good show. Joe Lee, how you doing? Welcome, welcome. This will be a great chat. I think so. It's not always me. I'm here on time. I start work at 8 a.m. in the morning. I've been sitting here. All right. We got a lot of stuff going on around behind the scenes. And some days, I'm not gonna lie, I could just hit the live button. I just want to make sure there's nothing else that needs to be said to me because we run this show for some hours. So yeah, these productions take time. They take a lot of time, energy, sweat. Got to get things working in the background, but we thank y'all for your patience. Stephen K. Mack, what's going on? Early, SG, what's up? What's up? Ghost 911, what's up? Mr. Rich, marriage, politics, and sports in the building. Damn, I thought this was the same people. Money, marriage, and media, and marriage, politics, and sports. What's going on, Triple M? His name is Mike as well. Come up and chat with me if you ever get a chance. My man Ed Hill, what's going on? What's going on? This is going to be a great chat. Let me tell y'all where this topic came from. I didn't even have a topic this morning. I woke up, kids were eating breakfast downstairs. My wife made breakfast for them. And I was going to put my stuff on so I can get them ready for school when they came back upstairs so I can get out of here and start my own day. And JP was on. J Prince for president. So make sure if you aren't following him over there on that channel, y'all go ahead and follow JP if you can. They were talking about, he has his perspective and the way he sees things. And I kind of tapped in and I just heard some people, some of our favorites over here, PH Diva, and some other ladies. And, it was that typical, oh, the black community needs to do better. They're always robbing stuff from us, typical victim talk. I'm sorry to say it like that, but it was typical victim talk. And, we can't ever have nothing. Everything's been taken away from us. But the only part I get particularly sensitive about is when people start talking about family and people start talking about what we can't do as a people, meaning all black people collectively. Because I want y'all to know, even though y'all deem me some kind of African, I was born here. I married a black woman and we made black children. So my children's experience, my family experience is now the black experience. So excuse y'all and F y'all for anybody who don't think that that applies, because it does. It absolutely does. And you can't take it from me either. People don't, like I always tell y'all, people don't, a cop doesn't ask me to roll down my window and ask me if I'm African. They don't do that. So a large part of the black experience that you have is also my experience. Remember that. And unless you can intellectually prove me wrong, I don't want to hear that shit. All right. I'm not here for what your opinion is. Unless you can factually prove to me that my experience is not your experience, then I don't want to hear that shit. So I have a black wife. I got black kids. Essentially, a large part of the black experience is also my experience. So when people start talking about the black family or why it's not important and what, is important about it, I start to get into that conversation a little heavy, and I made some comments and all that. But I want to know, to everybody in the chat, everybody listening right now, how do you envision the future of the black community? And I want to know, before you answer, I two things I want to ask right now. How do you envision the future of the black community? Is it with most black people as individuals? Or is it as most black people within the nuclear family structure? That might seem like a silly question, but as it pertains to the discussion I was having this morning, it might be the most important question of the moment. And I'm going to explain to you why. On JP's show early this morning, I heard some troubling things. Some troubling things. And it got me thinking, man. I'm always thinking. That's one of the things that I like to do. I like to debate. I like to think. I like to hear other people's opinions and perspectives so I can weigh them against my own and see if I'm right, they're right, so I can learn and have their knowledge in my bag of tricks. If they are right, if they are indeed right, and they can prove me wrong. But I heard some terribly disturbing things this morning. Things that I would never agree with as somewhat of a traditional man. All right. And as you've heard me say before, this is my point on this, y'all. As you've heard me say before, there is no point in trying to tackle any other issue within the Black community without first addressing the issues within the Black family structure. Have y'all heard me say that before? I've said it on King Talk. I've said it on Chic Critique. I've said it on Fight Club. I've said it on the Aaron O Show. All right. There's no point. Stop talking about Black boys and their behavior and Black girls and their insecurities and their promiscuity. None of that you can't tackle any of that until you tackle the issues within the Black family structure. There is no problem. There is no problem that the Black community suffers from that cannot be traced back to fatherlessness. Not one. If you can name one, go ahead and put it in the chat. I'm all ears. What up, 455 bench presser? What's going on? If you can name one, I am all ears. Promiscuity, violence, incarceration. Name one that doesn't go back to fatherlessness in the Black community. So why would you try to tackle any other issue before you tackle that one? It makes no goddamn sense. And remember, this is not an echo chamber. I would gladly invite anybody up here who disagrees and wants to intellectually, and this is why I actually have to put it out there. I'm done. I think after JP's show today, I'm done with the unintelligent conversation. I will no longer help or arrive to debate idiots. I'm no longer doing it. If all you can say, if I'm giving you fact after fact, I'm expecting you to debate me with facts, not your feelings. If all you can tell me after an argument is you African and you don't know shit anyway, that means you fucking lost. None of that means shit to a nigga like me. I like to speak with my equals. I debate with my equals. All others I teach. So if you ain't gonna come up here with some real shit, with some real facts, it can even be your opinion. Just let it be an educated one. Let it be well formed and thoughtful and well thought out. Some of y'all just be on YouTube saying bullshit. I'm tired of it. Well, I own this and I own that. I don't give a fuck what you own. I'm talking about the community. So if we aren't going to attack, that problem, we have no problem. I'm sorry, we have no business trying to go after anything. Everything else is just a band-aid. It ain't going to solve nothing. If you are creating a program for young boys to get their homework done, but sending them back to the hell of a home that got them in that problem in the first place, you sending them back to the same environment where they keep trying to jump them into a gang, you ain't done shit for them. Maybe one boy can be saved. I'm trying to save the 90%, not the 10. Whew. That's the problem, isn't it? Isn't that the problem? Y'all think 10% is good enough. Y'all think 1 of 10 is good enough. I'm trying to solve for the 90. I know nothing is 100%. You'll see me celebrate. You'll see me say problem solve when we get the 90% to cooperate. Oh, and it's possible. Possible. When I get the 90% to cooperate, then I've done something. Give me 1 second. Let me return this email. You yesterday, but they the MA transcript. All right. Sorry about that. Where were we? Let me continue on what. Let me continue here, okay? So, my position, obviously, on this is that there is no black community without the black family. Put a 1 in the chat if you agree. Now, I know some of you are thinking, well, isn't the definition of community a group of individuals? You would be correct. That is the definition of community. A group of individuals. But as you've also heard me say before, that is not the context in which we are using. When we talk about the black community and any other community involving an ethnic group, that community is made up of a group of families. There is no black community without the black family. Now, let me dig in deeper. The link is dropped for those of y'all that want to come up. Please come up and chat with me. I got questions on this topic. I do. Because I don't want to just have a circular discussion. We need to talk about some of these revelations that I have now. Because it's very sad, but we're going to get down to the bottom of it. And on this show earlier today, on JP's show, JP goes on to say there will never be a time where black men and black women will go back to the traditional role of husband and wife under the same roof. Does anybody agree with that? Let me know. Remember, this is not an echo chamber. You know my thoughts, my values, my principles, my beliefs. You know that to me, that's everything. That is what the community is. All right, Faceless Man says he agrees. I will repeat. JP went on to say that there will never be a time where black men and black women will go back into the traditional role of husband and wife under the same roof. So some of y'all agree with that. Faceless Man says he's 30. Why is that important? Tell me why. I don't know. So another person super chatted after I responded. I forgot what I said, but another person super chatted after that. And that person said that black people are non-traditional now. A majority of black people are non-traditionalists. And rather than trying to force us into traditional norms, we need to create modern norms to fit our new style of living. Let me know if y'all agree with that. Yes or no. We are no longer traditional people. We are modern people. And we need to make modern norms to fit who black people are now. Do you agree with that? Yes or no? Let's see. Wrath usually comes before repentance. All right. So after listening to that BS, I'm sorry, I thought that was complete bullshit. And after listening to that bullshit, I started to think about something that was said to me a while ago. Y'all. A growing number of black women don't see the black community as the traditional family structure involving the man as the head of the household, the woman, and children. I didn't want to believe that at the time. I was like, what are you talking about? That's the family. That's the nuclear family. That's all I've ever known. That's what nature dictates. Not me. That's what nature dictates. And who doesn't see the family structure as that? I think that was logic. That said that. And According to the people that were talking from JP's show, he was 110% right. They see it as the woman as the head of household, her children, and maybe the man is there or not. Put a one in the chat if you think that's the way black women view the modern black community. When I say it was almost immediate when he said that, I said, damn, Logic was right. What are they talking about? Modern. We're non-traditional. Let's make something for the modern people. Do y'all not have your eyes open? Do y'all not watch what's going on in these streets? Do y'all not read statistics? Do y'all not go to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the census, and look at the marital numbers, blackdemographics.com, and look at the number of crimes being committed by black boys, the number of offenses being committed by black men and black women? Women never even used to be involved in crime. The number of black women and children going missing. Do y'all not look at this stuff and realize that it's all a byproduct of this bullshit y'all talking right now? Maybe not. But I was struggling to accept that premise, but not anymore. I'm not struggling to accept that anymore. Let me bring my man, Money, Marriage, and Media. Triple M, what's going on, bro?
What's going on, man?
I'm chilling, man. I'm chilling. You got a grasp on today's topic? Where you?
Yeah, I do. A lot of people are not going to like what I have to say, though.
No doubt, no doubt. I'm here for all of it. Opening thoughts. You got the floor.
Okay, so I've said this before that traditional women, because that's one of the reasons why men are not trying to get married anymore, is that women aren't traditional anymore. Mm-hmm. The shocking thing is that traditional women are a dying breed.
Yes.
Women don't, the reason why women, especially in our community, don't want to be traditional anymore is because they don't see the benefit in it. That being said, my personal opinion, I think that number one, we have put too much stock in the term modern women being a derogatory term. All it is just women of today. I think what's happening right now is that women don't want to be traditional anymore. And then we as men, we haven't figured out what the benefits are of marrying a woman of today. So this is why you have a lot of pushback. Now, like I said, some people are not going to like what I have to say. But the reality is that if we're going to talk about building a community, then we've got to start to figure out how we can make marriages work today, because we can't go back. You want to bring women back to the table, you want them to become the wife that you're looking for, they have to see benefit in it. And right now, they're not really seeing that.
Indeed. Mr. Rich, what's going on?
Hey, what's going on, gentlemen?
Chilling.
All right. Hey, listen. I have, I think if you're a man and you want to be married and you have standards that are reasonable, you have to just ferret out the women that fit into your standards. Forget about modern women. Forget about whatever we call them. There's women out there. One thing I think one of the problems we have in this red pill space or the manosphere or whatever, it's an echo chamber. And a lot of people think that there's such a scarcity of good women out there that they view all women based on where they spend their time. If you spend a lot of time online hearing all this stuff, I think you make a mistake and you eliminate women just because they might misspeak or say something wrong. I mean, I was married in '87. Of course, the women back there had a whole lot more. I guess they were still some of them were still groomed to be wives. There's less now. But like I said, I keep saying this, the nature of women and men has not changed. The only thing that's changed is the tools that we use and abuse. That's how I look at it. So if you're schooled in the nature of what women are and what men are, I think you could still do well now, but you just have to be more choosy. Like, for example, there were 304s back in '87.
Yep.
Right? It's just more of them now.
A lot more.
There's just more of them now. And I think one of the words that we don't use when we talk about what men need to do, we talk about how we need to when we're born, and men make their way by earning their way through life, or else we don't have no safety net. We need to start telling women, if we're going to tell them anything, that all we need from you is to have some modicum of virtue left when I meet you. Because in the end, I want to know that we can cleave together, and you haven't given all your virtue away to some egghead. Because in the West, we've already conceded the fact that we're not going to get a virgin, right? So when I look at a woman, I think we want to make sure they have some modicum of virtue left. And as a man, we need to be able to read that so we don't run into the chameleon. So I'll just land that right there, and we can talk about some more of it later.
All right, Ashton.
You heard that interview with Deion Sanders when he was talking about the type of players he's looking for.
Yes, yeah, I did.
Yep.
Yeah, he said he specifically look for kids that come from a single mother household. I played sports and I thought it was supposed to be either height, weight, or some type of athleticism. I ain't never heard that. So just hearing that, and they had some white coaches counter reacting to it, and they saying they been felt like that, or they wouldn't have said it like that. They let me know that the nuclear family is damn near destroyed.
I agree. That's actually a good. I'm gonna create a question out of that part you brought up about that Deion Sanders thing, because it was weird. People's responses from it. I understood it 100% because
Yeah,
not only did he do that, you get that type of selection, that type of discrimination from some of these,
white
like,
people.
exactly, this AAU league type stuff. So I played travel soccer for a little bit, and you can hear the coaches talking. Like, my mom and dad would leave me with them because they were at work. So the coach would be like, "No worry, after school, I get the van, I take everybody with me," and he'd be like talking to people like, "No, man, Mike comes from a good home. His dad's involved. We're not gonna have any problem. We're not gonna have any problem out of him." Like, I was young, I didn't know what the hell they were talking about, but that's what they were talking about. You see what I'm saying? Because one of the things
Exactly.
that I don't think people gather, Black people in general, for some reason, want to be liked by everybody. I don't know why that's such a thing, but they want to be liked by everybody, and that's a huge deficit, because I don't need to be liked. Literally, just don't discriminate against me to the point where I can see it and I'm good, because I can make my own way. My excellence in everything that I do is what is going to pave my way in society. I don't necessarily need people to like me, right? Because your manners, the way you were brought up, the way you present, that does most of the work for you. Have y'all ever felt that thing that people do of other races? When you walk into some place or something and they stare, it's usually white women that do it. They want to know what type of Black person you are. So you usually got to speak first. Usually, like, "Hello, everyone. Good afternoon." And look, they'll be like deactivated. "Oh, hello. How are you?" Because they just want to know, what kind of Black person is this?
Hey, Mike, you just talked about a whole show you could talk about.
Yeah.
About that whole show, that whole theme on Black people wanting to be liked is a whole show.
Yeah. Well, like, I've never had that where I want to be liked by this person. I want to be like, why don't they like us? I don't give respect. As long as you don't disrespect, discriminate openly, and that does not happen to Black people of good character. Like, I think more and more Black people need to say, you need to watch how you carry yourself, because when you are literally the picture of character, you carry yourself accordingly. Those are the people that have the right to be like, don't discriminate against me. Like, you see what I'm saying? So, but it's usually the people that want to throw people's property all around and kick people's shit. It's like, I'm the same. Like, treat me with. I was like, oh my God, nah, I don't fuck with those type of people. I ain't gonna lie. But anyway, let me bring this first question up. We're gonna start with you, Triple M. What are the key changes needed to recreate the Black community?
Oh man.
What are your top?
Top three or just top one? Well, it doesn't matter because they're all connected anyway.
Your top, no matter how many.
Okay, all right. So a couple things, a couple social constructs need to change in our community, and I say a couple because they're interconnected. right?
Mhm.
The first one is we have to do a better job of raising our kids. Um,
Mm.
we have a generation where where our kids were raised to be soldiers in the gender war. They don't know how to work in cooperation with each other. We got to do a better job of that. We also need to make improvements in the vetting process, right?
Mm.
For currently, we have the tools that we don't even use. And the I would say both the matriarch and the patriarchs in our family, for both men and women, are great tools for vetting. These people have had decades of experience dealing with their same gender, but for whatever reason, we don't want to talk to them when it comes to potential mate selection. The other thing that we have is a misunderstanding of marriage. We're going to have to redefine or rediscover how the purpose and how we can marry successfully. Now, there's a lot of nuances in those conversations. The fourth tier that's a problem is finances. But if we can't come together on the first three, the fourth one just becomes irrelevant. It's just
Mhm.
it's not gonna it's a fleeting, it's a short-term solution, and it's not gonna go anywhere unless we fix those other three issues.
Sounds good, bro. Mr. Payne.
Yeah, I have three things that I was thinking about. One, we need to let go. I think some of us who want to move forward, we need to let go because I know this might be controversial. There's a significant part of the community that we just can't save, and I think it's a waste of time trying to do it.
Mm.
I really believe that. I don't care what anybody says. There's some people that like they say, well, if a person doesn't want to be helped, you shouldn't try to help. Or if you want to teach somebody something, they have to be prepared to hear what you have to say. Like when the student's ready, the teachers appear. So, I think we spend an inordinate amount of time trying to save the community, and there's almost no community. And part of that is our undying and idiotic support of the Democratic Party. We need to get away, especially black men. We need to get away from them as fast and hard as we can. Because I can't think of one thing they've done for us as black people that that justify our undying devotion to those damn people. All right, so that's one. Two, uh, I think I have it down there. We need to provide the people that want to progress and want to move in tandem, women and men. We need to understand that there's a certain amount of grace that we could give people who want to move forward, right? Because everybody's not going to start from the same level. They're going to have to just have a desire that they want to be married, they want to start families, they want to try to help whatever a new community. And so, but everybody's going to come with a different level of baggage, right? So you got to have some kind of discernment, right? So we
Mhm.
can't just be too overly uh, judgmental on people who've had a past but don't want to move, thinking nobody wants to move forward. So that's the second one. And the third one is what I agree with Triple M. We need to, as men, we need to know how to vet and court women better than we used to before. And we have to understand that courting a woman is different than dating them, right? So when you find a woman that you're interested in, and you're courting her, that's the communication part. There's a definition in that. And then once you get used to that person, their friend, your confidant, you can start taking them on dates here and there. You're not going to really be concerned on who's paying, right? But the vetting process is an important process. Again, I have a video about 10 steps for men who want to vet and court women for marriage, right? And it's on my page. So I think that whole thing, it's not 100% inclusive, but it's both non-secular and secular. And I have 10 steps that I think will help men of any age, to, in terms of where we are. If you're a millennial, a Gen Z, or Gen Xer, or whatever it is, I think it's still relevant today. So I think it's my 10 steps. And those three things are the things I think we need to talk about. So we
Nice.
ended there.
All right, Ashton, what you got?
Honestly, I may get some hate for this, but I think it's time for the black women to go ahead and do a hard reset. Like just lately, you called me out on this too, Mike. You thought you called me up, but we was on the same page. We was talking about how women just overreact when they hear the word submission, but
Mhm.
that's really the same word as cooperate. Like they just mixing two words up and they don't get that it's the same thing. And I just been peeping it. Like they don't hear what we hear. They don't see what we see. Another example, what was it? So I was talking to this girl when Kevin Samuels first just blew up. You know, you can't hear that. You can't play that shit out loud. You know, motherfuckers gonna have something to say. I would never. I would never play that shit. I always put on my headphones like around 9 or 10 o'clock. And some just told me like after a couple of months, asked her what she think about Kevin Samuels. She said, "Oh, he hate fat women." Nah, see. So I mean, it's just they hearing and seeing two different things. They mixing them up. I think it's just time for a hard reset. Cause I mean, we four different brothers, and our pain, his thoughts be out there, but you know, we ain't got the argument yet. Trigger Mike, your thoughts be out there, but I still see where you coming from. It's hard to. Why is it so hard for a black man and a black woman to be in the same household, be in the same room without arguing now? So I think, I mean, we know we been up under a microscope, but the black woman ain't. So I think it's just time for a hard reset because it's just some shit out there that I don't see them coming back from. I mean, I'm down like R Pain said. Just some people don't want to be saved, but you know, it ain't about that 1 out of 10, that 10%. Now I'm with you, Trigger Mike. If if they want to do it, I don't mind hipping the 90%, but it's gonna take a hard reset.
All right, that was dope. All right, so I only have one. I only have one, and this one is huge for me because when you listen to people talk about what is necessary, you already know they get into the reparations talk. They get into what's not being done for us by the government. The president needs it. I literally, like, a part of me just died. Like every time a black person does that, I like, a part of me dies inside because none of it is true. And I got proof. What black people need to stop doing is stop blaming others for your misfortune. It ain't nobody else's fault. I understand everything that has been done. Everything. Redlining, I understand. Eminent domain, taking your grandmother's house, I understand. All of that pales into comparison to the habits of black people destroying themselves. Your habits destroyed you. Your lack of compliance with traditional norms destroyed you. You leaving, having a baby by some dude and not raising that child with that dude in cooperation under the same roof destroyed you. Other people that don't have nothing to do with your individual decision making. That shit wrecked you individually. Before we talk about anything else, let's talk about that first. Stop blaming others for your misfortune. Dr. Umar Johnson, Tariq Nasheed, do you know what these niggas are famous for? They sell black grief back to black people. They sell your grief back to you. They know you're upset, so they weaponize that shit for their own personal gain. Let me ask y'all a question in the chat. Is Dr. Umar's school open yet? Let me mark it on my calendar. How many years it takes to build a goddamn school? Is it open yet?
Hell no.
Is it open? Anybody? Let me put it. You know he goes in the Breakfast Club like this time every year to talk about the school that never opens. Change it from the Marcus Garvey Academy or whatever it's called. Like, what's that movie called? The Never Ending Story. This is the never ending fucking opening. The shit might as well be online college now. Okay, because that building ain't never opening. All right. So they sell your grief back to you. That's why I don't like it. And here's my proof that you don't need the government. You don't need a president. You don't need anything for you. The J community, the Chinese, the Korean, the Middle Easterners, the Nigerians, whatever, These people own more middle and upper middle class wealth than everybody, more than whites. And they are not heavily represented in Congress or the Senate. They're not even represented in local government or state government like that. But yet they own more wealth than everybody. Think about that. They don't need anybody but themselves, their culture, their husband, their wife, their family, their community. They wreck shop. They own whole parts of cities to themselves because they did that as a community. They don't need no president. They don't need no governor. They don't need no mayor. So stop saying that somebody else need to do something for black people to get their shit together when you literally have 5 ethnic groups showing you don't need shit from nobody to do this shit for yourself. That's all I got on that. Thoughts?
Trigger Mike, I gotta disagree with you on that. I mean, they give out special grants to the Chinese. Damn, what else? Damn, hit me out, Arpain. Shit.
Well, no. Well, hold on. Ashton, do me a favor, bro. Do me a favor. They give out. Nobody has ever given out more grants to anybody than are available for black people. Okay, so there's a difference between the Chinese grants you're talking about. They use the grants that are given to them. I want you to go to any, I don't know what it's called, public, maybe not city hall, but somewhere with public administration building in your city. And I want you to go ask them, please give me the names of the programs specifically for black people to do anything, go to college, start a business, all of this. They will literally, you could be there all day with the amount of stuff that they give you. Do black people utilize these things that have been created for them? No. Donald Trump, who black women seem to hate, mind you, created opportunity zones for black business owners in black communities to get a tax advantage for opening whatever, whether it was a hair shop, whether it was a nail salon, you tax advantage, which means you just make more money and you don't have to pay taxes. Did black people use that? No. So we can look, man, I'm very smart, bro. I'm very smart. You can't use the traditional black things against me. Talk about, well, what about the Chinese grants? We have more grants available than anyone.
But this is what I'm saying, Trigger. Like, from my understanding, it's like once they come across the border, like it's at their feet. Like, they just signing up. Like it's on for us too. Like I get what you're saying, but it's not like here, just sign your name. Here go the grant. Like how the Asians get it once they cross the border. But I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
Hey, Triple M, you want to go next or what?
Well, I need to address something that Trigger Mike said because he brought up Tariq Nasheed and Umar Johnson. I want to ask you, how is what they're doing different from what all these red pill guys and the manosphere? How is it different from what they're doing? They selling grief right back to men. I mean,
I'm not sure. The red pill people that I follow. So I know that the red pill community, I think I'm not as astute as the average person because I only listen to select people. But the red pill, I don't even know what defines red pill. The people that I listen to are really just about male empowerment. Like, I don't hear them selling grief back. I hear them talking to men like, get your shit together. Like, the stuff that I'm talking about, that's what I hear the people that I follow talking. Get your shit together, open an LLC, get your 401k right. If a woman don't treat you right, leave. Like, that's the stuff that I listen to. So that's not what Dr. Umar is doing.
I want to go back to content creators who consistently use the term modern women to degrade women of today, as if they are not a product of what you said yourself, an environment where men are lacking. So we help create the women of today. So my thing is that, okay, if we're going to talk about that, why is it that we consistently tune into these content creators who, again, selling us our grief back? You're struggling with women. Yeah, women are on some BS now. They're not traditional anymore. That's why you shouldn't get married. Marriage today doesn't work and you just need to abandon it. But wait a minute. I thought communities were built around nuclear families. isn't isn't families, 2-parent household, isn't that the
I
best
see what you're
environment to
saying.
raise children in?
So
Oh,
this
but we're
is
gonna ignore all
you were
that
there
data.
too. You were there too, but I don't think we talked about. Did we talk? You were in the back chat on yeah. So we had a back chat conversation, and I think this was the week before last, Triple M, where somebody was like, I think it was Inaz that said, "How do you feel about Myron Gaines?" And I was like, well,
Yeah, I wasn't
a
there for
lot of
that.
his, you weren't there for that. So for some reason, women think that men like me agree with everything he says. I don't agree with everything he freaking says. If he is on the male empowerment, what you need to do for yourself to make the best version of you, I'm with Myron Gaines. When Myron Gaines starts talking about family, he got me fucked up. Because this dude is tripping. I don't know, because he is what, South Sudanese? His parents
Yes,
are? He
he's
comes
Muslim.
from a
No,
nuclear
no, no,
family.
no, 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 no. We need to be clear. That dude is American. He was born here.
No, but what I'm saying,
He
what I'm
says,
saying is he is a first generation American like me. Everything he is, all of his values, principles, came from a 2-parent household, nuclear family structure. So I don't know what the fuck he's talking about when he's like, no, you don't need to get married, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, dude, shut up. That's the part where I'm like, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. At least if you feel a way about marriage, keep quiet. But everything you are came from 2 married people.
okay.
So I don't agree with him on that.
Well, hold on, because we got to say something now. In him, Myron's defense, and I don't come to his defense often. He has changed his rhetoric. He is now saying that, well, marriage is the best environment to raise children, and at some point you should get married. You just shouldn't involve the state.
You're right. I have heard him say that, and
So
He
that's why we
always
have
say
to,
that.
that's why we actually have to be very careful when we talk about it, because even me, when people are like, why are you always forcing marriage on people? I was like, well, there's a group of people that I don't force marriage on. If you are disciplined enough and you have made up your mind that marriage is a bit of a hassle for you, because people tend to prioritize their convenience in today's society. So if you're like, well, I don't really want to serve a man, I'd rather serve myself, and no children are involved, I don't have any smoke for those people.
yeah,
I really don't, because it's like you got the ability to make a decision and you aren't putting any circumstances in this world that would be better suited for the within the confines of marriage. It is the people who have kids that I got a problem with. That I'm like, all right, you better sit there and concern yourself with how these children should be raised. Those are the group of people that I'm talking
So
to.
can I chime in at this point? Let me
Yes, sir.
chime in on a couple. Let me just really quick to talk about the Myron thing. One of the things that, he's not against marriage, but one of his prerequisites is that a man go out and have 50 different women.
Yeah.
So he'll know how. So I think that here's the contradiction. You can't tell a man to be on his purpose and he's out there trying to stroke 50 women.
Yep.
You know how much energy it would take a guy who's just a regular guy trying to even approach that number. There's no way you're going to be on your purpose if you're trying to stroke 50 women. And that's one. And two, you don't need to have that much experience. Let me finish. You don't need to have that much experience to understand the nature of women. You don't even have to have sex with them. You just need to, study women to understand certain things. You're going to have a few experiences, but you don't have to go through no damn 50 women. You don't have to go through 10. Right. So that's my thing on the Myron thing. But I just want to answer the other question. I think one of the things that's holding Black people back is that we underestimate the power of that the victimization mentality has on the Black diaspora. It's really powerful. That's why we can't get past slavery. That's why we can't get past Jim Crow. That's why we can't get past wanting reparations. That's why we can't get past the oh, woe is me. That's why we ignore all the successful Black people that's walking around. And I'm not talking about athletes. I'm not talking about entertainers. We have so many successful Black people to pull from, writing books, making movies, and not just. I'm not talking about behind the scenes. We have so many accomplished Black people that we ignore. It's incredible. And so that victimization mentality, and once again, I'm gonna say it, I'm gonna move past it. It's by the liberal Democratic Party, whose power comes from making us feel inferior all the time.
Yep.
All the time.
Agreed.
And it's a powerful thing. And so and it's destroyed families. It's made everybody woke. You know, too many black people accepting decadence, accepting all kinds of debauchery, all kinds of things, just so we could belong. And you know, I'm getting ready to put out something on Chicago as a requiem for the death of a black community, as a spotlight, and it's spreading all across the country in all kinds of fashions. How we're being replaced as the base of the Democratic Party with immigrants and other small groups. That's why they're pandering to all these other groups so they can replace us, because they can see the decay in the black community just by looking at the inner cities. So it's a big cabal of shit going on, I'm telling you. And that's what, and then the family structure, marriage, is being affected by that. There's incentive for women not to get married, and there's fear for men not to get married because we're getting raked over the coals in the court system. Because we have to tell men how to protect themselves from the state. Now, again, you don't have to get married, but even if you want a common law with somebody, there's 8 states that recognize common law. You can look those up. But if you're going to just shack up with a person, a woman you want to be with, you still have to do a certain amount of paperwork, right? And the biggest one is if something happens to both of you, what happens to the kids? What, the maternal grandparents get them? The paternal grandparents get them? Who do they become ward of the state? If you don't have no paperwork defining that, they become ward of the state. Guess how many people don't even think about that?
A lot.
Guess how many married couples don't even have a will? You know, so there's a lot of little things we need to talk about when we in these spaces. And if you get a guy who comes on and says, I'm against marriage no matter what, well, you say, well, what other safeguards do you have in your relationship with your favorite woman or your significant other?
Do you know, you bring up a good point, and I have no idea at which level I'm going to do this, but I'm feeling real good about the way things are moving, like this red pill movement, because even though I've said all this bullshit online, if men start being men again, I can run for office and it wouldn't matter. You know how people try to use all this stuff against me. He said this on YouTube. I don't give a fuck. I said it, and that'll make me more popular. Right. When men start acting like men, that'll make me more popular. Shit, look at how Donald Trump became president. He just said shit that was on poor ass white people's mind, and they just resurged like, yes, yes. So, but one day I'm gonna actually do you not think that everything you just said, it was spot on? Declaring that stuff for your children should be done the same way they make you register for your birth certificate. Like this is simple, because you're absolutely right. Not only do people have to petition so that the kid doesn't become a ward of the state, it's usually like, let's say, grandma or one of your sisters or brothers that has to go through a lengthy court process, miss tons of work just to say, hey, I'm trying to lay claim to this child. They are a part of my family. All of that could just be done the same. Like I just signed my daughter up for a new aftercare. You know how much stuff they made me put down on that paper, who to call, send me their ID pictures. Why can't you do that at a birth? Just where is this kid supposed to go so the state don't have to pay for him? That's the type of stuff that I'm worried about or considering when I run for office. Like, let's get a common sense society back, because we don't have one right now.
Exactly.
All right. We got Curtis Moore, Green Gang. Thank you for becoming a member. If you're just tuning in, welcome to the Trigger Mike Show on the Lapeef Network. We got a dope panel right now. I'm going to drop the link so more people can come up and talk to us. We're going to get ready on the next question. Ashton, we're going to start with you, my guy. All right. Oh, damn. Let me pause this one.
Oh, Trigger, let me get back on that topic about Myron real quick, if you don't mind.
About Myron? Go ahead.
Yeah. Like a lot of people say, you know, he don't want to get married, but from your experience, we're not gonna say his race. I'm gonna just go with Pakistani. If he don't marry a woman from America, what he gonna do to get a wife?
Myron is going on the record and saying multiple times that he's going back to the Middle East.
Exactly, and that's what women don't see. He can afford that luxury to do that.
Yeah,
like it don't matter what he say here. Like that woman that he going to marry, like she already ready for him. Like I don't know why they keep trying to say Myron hate women. Like he already got his shit in pack. Like I don't know why people don't see that. That's what I
Well,
like about him.
well,
Like,
there's there's so many other things that he says that's completely just
It,
have reduced it to make you
don't
wonder.
everybody?
But yeah, but in his case, there are things like the 50 women thing. Don't get me wrong, because I had to do research because I was deciding whether or not I wanted to cover Fresh and Fit. But the reason why he said 50 women, and it's an exaggeration, and he's gone on to say that multiple times, but nobody cares. The reason why he said that is so you don't get addicted to sex. You don't get whipped by a woman just because she's giving you sex and you're not accustomed to having consistent sex. So it doesn't.
OG, you know where that show is in Miami. He meet 50 women just at brunch.
Well, but
They
again,
all BBL, they all
eh,
supermodels. They
yeah,
come in and out. Like you
I
have sex with one.
I get that, but here's the problem though. Consistently on that show, they say that that show is to help improve the average men improve. The average man is not living in a city like Miami. This is the biggest problem I have with them is that they claim that they're there to help men, but yet if you notice the majority of their content, when pressed about it, they move the argument to the high value man, which says that, okay, well, who is that show about? Is it there? Are you there to help average men, like you say? Or then, if that's the case, then why does every time somebody press you about an argument, you move the conversation to high value, as if that's going to
So
you know what? I
that
don't
is
know. I'm gonna
actually
leave it there.
that is actually also my biggest criticism of them. They have barely any advice for the average man. And the worst part about it, and y'all have heard my theory on dichotomy of purpose. The one thing that men are really arrogant about and don't want to admit, you will not achieve your purpose until you have a woman. Like, let's be real. That is the life for most average men. Get married so you got something to live for, so you got something to work for. This is why they wrote books like The Talented 10th. Only a certain small select group of men have the drive, the intelligence, the smarts to just get it anyway. For no reason, only a small group of men in history, in any ethnic group, have the ability to do that. The number one reason you see men out here sweating, laboring outside is so they can provide for the family they created. So if women are only focusing on work and not giving men families, men essentially will have no purpose. That's why you see men not trying. What the fuck for? That shit is actually hard. To want to go out, and remember, men have to go out and get rejected when they put out for themselves. But that rejection is worth it if one day you can go out and be excellent. If I can just get this so my daughter can start her gymnastics, because that shit is expensive. If I can just get this so we can get a bigger house, so my wife stop complaining about the kitchen, it allows you to accept that rejection, right? So men, why try to be rejected if you have nothing to have a purpose for? Myron and them don't speak to that at all. They only talk about high value men, which less than so 5% of men will ever be statistically. So I have the same criticism.
I don't know if that's all they talk about. I don't know if that's all they talk about. I consume Fresh and Fit, not religiously, but I watch their show. I mean, the book that he wrote was Why Women Deserve Less, and that's because of the outrageous requirements that modern women have for typical men. And so when we're talking about when they're having their show, and instead of Miami, we're talking about the first thing he asks is, okay, what does your perfect man, what does he have to bring? What's your idea of the perfect man? He starts from there. He goes all around. He takes it all in, and it's like, okay, this is why you're not qualified for this kind of man. You're not doing this. You're not doing that. So it's more of combating the idea of feminism on a debate kind of forum, to say, hey, these are the facts as we know them to be. How are you going to deal with it? Are you going to stay in your world of delusion, or can you see what I'm talking about? And it kind of goes from there.
My question is that I get that women say that online, but and that's a dream scenario. But if we talk to most women about who they've been dating, who they've been in relationships with in the past, what percentage of them talking about it? About the type of man that she's been dating?
Yeah.
Why
think she's gonna tell you the truth?
Why? Yeah, I do. I'm trying to figure out why would she lie about that?
Because women tend to exaggerate and lie about a lot of things about this kind of man. Okay, think about it. If it was good, oh, he was a wonderful man. He was this. He did everything for me, and I want a man just like that. That's a lie. This guy was a loser. He didn't have a this and that and this and that. Okay, well, that's a lie. You see what I mean? You don't find it. You don't find the truth from women much anywhere.
Well, you're making too much of a blanket statement, my man. That's too much of a blanket statement.
So how many women on Fresh and Fit or anywhere do you know that come with 100% like reliable truth that we can
talk about? Okay, I'll give you the Fresh and Fit women.
No, you move the goalposts. You move the goalposts. We talking about. We said that hey, these women want high value men.
Mm-hmm.
But my statement is that that's a dream scenario. But look at back who they're dating. Are they dating high value men? No, they're not.
Oh no, they're not.
But that was my point.
Okay,
they're dating more average men. So So I didn't speak to the character or what happened in the previous relationship. I just said, okay, who are they dating? And
they dating regular men, but they having a one night stand with a celebrity. Just because they had that one night stand, the difference between men and women, I always say this: a man can have a threesome with Beyonce and Rihanna and go back home to his flat booty girlfriend like ain't nothing happened.
Not flat booty. God damn.
I don't know. I don't know.
A woman can have a one night stand with a celebrity, and she'll go back home and ruin her relationship with her average man. Talking about she deserves more now.
Okay,
then that's just my opinion.
So, what percentage of women do you actually think are out here having sexual experiences with celebrities?
Trigger Mike, you was a party promoter too. Huh? Come on now. You was a party promoter too.
It sounds like you said I'm out here having sex with who?
No, I said you was a party promoter once. Go ahead and tell them. Okay?
No, I actually wanted to hear your opinion on that.
Can you
Trigger Mike was a party promoter too?
Can you ask that question again? Can you ask that question again?
Let's not use celebrities as an example.
But that's where they get their standards from.
No, I'm saying the amount of women that are having sex with high value men that they don't actually qualify for. That happens a lot.
And that's used usually on Fresh and Fit as well. These are women that sometimes work at the strip club as well. So they're going to run into celebrities.
Okay.
High ballers.
Again, what percentage of women out here are strippers that most men are trying to marry?
85%.
85% of women are strippers.
No. 85% sleep with a man that they can't get.
Okay, but my question relates to that you're looking to marry.
I mean, you kind of moving the goalposts now. You say where they get their standards from. I told you where they get them from. That one night stand. Now you saying what's the percentage?
No, my point is that most women are not out here having one night stands with celebrities.
Yes, they are.
Okay.
I think they are. I think they are.
OG.
Bro. NBA. Hang on. NBA, NFL, hockey, baseball, entertainment industry, movie industry, music industry. What industry exactly are men not getting laid from women?
Not only that, but now you have to add in, because women don't care about money. They just care about popularity. Because celebrity is popularity, right? How many people have 1 million followers on IG?
So I wanted to address the fact that, let's be honest here, most people live in small cities and towns. Where all these? Yes, most people in the U.S. live in small cities and towns.
That wasn't the question.
I'm not asking a question. I'm making a point here. Most people live in small cities and towns throughout the U.S. These places are not frequented by celebrities and entertainers.
Okay.
So again, what percentage of women are out here having sex with these celebrities?
85%. Ashton told you because I want to get to the original thing, but Ashton already answered that. They'll take a trip to Miami to go to Disneyland or go to Atlanta, sleep with a celebrity, then go back to their small town and dump their man. It's not that the celebrities come in.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Let me take a crack at that too. Because I don't disagree with Triple M what he's saying. However, in the individual small town, there's always a big horse out there. I can guarantee you that guy is stroking a whole bunch of those chicks who they consider, because they consider him the high kahuna or whatever, the cadre of guys the top 10% of that town, whatever town you are in, the top 10% of those guys is stroking maybe 50, 60% of the women.
Yep.
You know, so no matter where you are, so it's all relative. Now, I don't want to put a blanket thing on all women, but women tend, from hypergamy and other things, tend to want to stroke the big dog. We can't deny that. You know, we just can't deny it for whatever reason. And they'll marry the little dog for security, and this guy's a good husband to the kids and all that horse shit. But she wants
the
the
game
big
done
dog.
changed.
But
The game done changed.
She wants the big
I know
dog.
where you coming from, but the game done changed. They'd rather be single now
yeah.
than to marry their
Or
little
they might
dog.
want
Man,
to
that's a
so,
lie, Ashton. That's a lie.
no, I
Listen,
don't agree with that 100%.
listen, Ashton.
Trigger.
So hold on. This is where y'all are proving EBD right. Women lie, bro. Stop. So we base a lot of the talking points we have off of what women say. They like just do it this way. Don't take my word for it. Don't take EBD's word for it. Take what women say, weigh it and weigh it against their nature, then weigh versus what they talk about and complain about in the YouTube sphere. It never adds up. It never lines up. If you were willing to be single, don't complain about men and how they do with it. Like literally everything they do contradicts itself. So, and women, I told y'all when I was working on my master's, I was working in a mental hospital. And there was a time where I was really interested in mental health counseling. Women are suffering from a acute mental disorder where when you feel nervous about something, like you're not going to achieve it, and it's something you want really bad, you start to fake down talk it like it's something you don't want. That's what women are doing on YouTube. It's an acute condition to say, because so many people around me are achieving it. This is why when you go to a wedding and it's that woman who literally has gone to 9 of them, 9 of her friends, and she's the last one. When an elder asks her, when are you getting married? She just throws a fit like, God damn, why y'all all in my bed? It's not because she don't want, everybody don't have to be married. I don't even want to be married. She's lying. Her feelings are so hurt that the other 9 women got married. And she's the 10th one and the last one and the one that might get unchosen. So instead of saying, you know what, I got to change my ways. I have not taken this seriously. I have not taken the men in my life seriously that wanted to do it. And that's why I'm not married. If I heard that come out of a woman's mouth, I would pass out because that's real.
Two things can be true. One, women do not want to be married, but number 2, women
want to be what?
They do
want
Trigger. Trigger. You said EBD was right, correct?
Yeah.
EBD. Did you agree with me when you started coming in here?
No,
about the marrying and then about the women lying.
Oh yeah. Because when they're young, when they're young and hot, it's I don't need a man to do this and that and whatever, right? I can do whatever I want. When they start to hit the wall and they're not getting attention anymore, then it's where's my husband? How come he's not out here? Right. How come I was ghosted? What's wrong with all these guys going for younger women? All that crap.
I just wanted to make sure because Trigger said everybody was wrong but EBD, but you agree with me at first, huh?
No, I'm just saying every girl that's 35 that say we're the good men also tell me about the story they passed up 2 marriage proposals and they told
exactly
somehow, but you didn't take the marriage.
Exactly.
Who don't take a marriage proposal? Come on now.
My sister did not. She was proposed to by a guy, military. They were dating. I guess everything was cool. Marriage proposal came. They're not married. So she obviously didn't accept his offer or thought that the offer wasn't good enough or whatever was in her mind, whatever was in his mind. He made the offer. He made the proposal. She turned it down. They're no longer together. Whatever happened. But I'm telling you right now, in her mind, there is a thing like, well, I wish I would have. I passed up a good thing.
Yeah,
I think out of 6 of us, it was only. Okay.
Let me clean that up because I do agree. Women want the wedding. Women actually want to be married. Women don't want to be wives. That's my ultimate point.
Marriage is slavery.
Exactly.
They don't want to do the duty associated with being a wife.
Because this goes back to what I was saying in the beginning about we need to do a better job of raising our kids to work in cooperation with one another.
I don't agree with that.
Well,
I believe that men need to cooperate and do what's best for men, and women will sleep with the winners. I don't think that we should care
That's
about
usually what
women
happens.
at all. Because women gonna, if all 6 of us are having a ball going bowling, it's gonna be a chick who just got a manicure willing to break her $80 nails to come bowling because we look like we having fun without her. I believe men need to do what's best for men, and women to follow along, and then you can give them the directions of the requirements of coming to ruin my life.
So how? No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm just saying. Here's the thing. Because I was looking at somebody else's show yesterday, and they were talking about people having the same argument from the 1960s. And I said the 1960s, adults were baby boomers. Those were the androgynous dudes that wore panties on outside their pants like DC comic superheroes.
No. Don't do that to the baby boomers.
Hey,
That's
man,
what I know. We had no panties on.
Kids, that's how they dressed. And then
that's our pain age group.
And then they go out here and marry a single mother in the 70s, and then they get on crack in the 80s. Then in the George W. administration, they go to rehab or something and be like my elder. The problems that people are having is that the dating module was broken with the boomers because they let girls with clothes on make decisions. And when women make decisions, they'll always choose the worst option until they are the worst option. Then they want the best option. That's a 24-year-old girl who my niece told me. This is a true story. I made this Facebook post about 10 years ago. It went viral. My niece was 26 at the time, 27, and she had just got her master's degree in psychology, some degree where you're supposed to know how people think, but she don't know how to shut up and suck swallow.
Psychology.
Yeah, whichever one don't get medicine. So telling me, she said, Uncle, she had this whole wish list. She said, Uncle, I got my doctorate. Why can't I find a black man with a doctorate and good credit in a BMW that's tall, dark, and handsome and faithful? And I started laughing. And I said, you can have some, but you can't have all. You need to pick 3 things off your list and do that. She said, why? I said, because the man you want, you didn't date and understudy. Because men don't even like school like that to get a doctorate. But it's a lot of successful men out here. You know what I'm saying? You may find a millionaire, but he got it out the mud. You may find a dude with a doctorate, but you know how much debt you got, and how much, because men get real doctors or a lawyer. Like, you got to put a lot of hours in. He's not gonna have time.
He said real doctors.
You know what I'm saying? So I said, she said, well, how can I get a good man? I said, you need to forget you got a degree and get a job at Hooters and learn good customer service. She didn't do that though. So she's single. But when you look at the economy, black women want to become the man that they want. They want that man to outman her. Ain't nobody going through that.
So that's how much Williams thing, and 100% right there. So you're absolutely right.
So how much of that behavior is just plain out immaturity?
Oh, first of all, I don't think that women can mature. That's why I call them toddlers. You see the crayons in the back, right?
If that's the case, then why can't we do a better job of making sure that our daughters and our sons mature mentally?
I agree with you, but that's a man thing. That's not a black thing. I don't know why. Like, I don't understand men and women panels, because what is a girl going to say to make you be like, yo, let me look that up? They don't say nothing. They say a sentence, then they contradict that sentence in the same sentence without a comma, so they can argue both points. So you can never be right.
So when you're saying we need to raise or teach younger women and men, the problem is we can teach men and men will listen. The problem is the women are being told by society that you no longer need to listen, respect, or even, comprehend what men are telling you.
Why do they believe that?
YouTube, wait a minute, YouTube, The View, The Real Housewives, all of these shows and media that they consume tells them and reinforces the fact that they don't have to respect the man. That's optional. I don't have to respect this man.
Okay.
I don't have to listen to this man. My feelings matter more than your reality. How I feel can mess up your world. Think about it. Empire, biggest show, right? What was it mostly about? A man who built like an empire, right? But here comes Taraji P. Henson effing it all up. What kind of tantrums has she performed throughout the whole show? I mean, think about it.
I can't agree with you on empire. Maybe power, but not empire.
but still, you get the point anyway.
Just to clarify, if we were able to change our image online as far as marriage goes, as far as Black couples in particular working together in cooperation, if we had more of that online and women and men could see examples of this happening, it might be easier to
examples of it. I think.
Well, let me.
Only thing we had was the Cosby Show.
EBD,
well, I said get more.
EBD, let me chime in a little bit on this one because I'm not saying anybody's right or wrong. All I'm just trying to say is that there's decades of the belittling of Black men, from Oprah Winfrey and The Color Purple, and the remake that they're coming out with, where all the Black men are just dastardly dudes, and one Black guy who's anything is worse than a simp. All I'm just trying to say is there's a lot of programming that we have to overcome. And the first thing we have to do, and if I was like you, Triple M, all we got to do is tell men to stand on their square. Now, we're in a different day and age, right? I get me and Trey go at it all the time. If you guys know Trey, he's anti-marriage, anti all this stuff. Yeah, he calls me a dinosaur because I'm from way back when. And I disagree with him that because I'm from back then, I don't know what the hell's going on now. I patently disagree with all of that shit. But the fact is that as a man, you know, in this modern era, we just got to adapt with the time, but we don't have to change our square. For example, if I marry a woman who's educated, has a little bit of money, right? I don't talk about 50-50, but she's going to have to do something with that money other than just sit back and watch me goddamn slave, right? So, but, you know, I'd be willing to do whatever kind of domestic shit around the house, because if she's working 50 hours a week, I don't expect her to come home and do everything, right? So the real point is that the only square a man has to stand on that really makes any real difference in his household with his woman is leadership.
Okay, it's a problem.
Because everything, well, let me just finish. Everything else is kind of negotiable, except my leadership. And if you can keep your leadership, your ego in place, and your woman respects you, a lot of that other shit, man, you know, you can move around. As long as she respects you as a leader, you could do anything. So if she's making a lot of money, if it's a little bit more than you, because I know a bunch of men who have women who make more money than them, but they maintain their households. They're not being simped out. The women respect them because they stand on the one square that really matters: their leadership. And because these guys have common sense and their leadership skills, they prove to that woman over and over again that when he makes a decision, and this is what I do with my wife. When I make a decision, she doesn't have to work. But when I make a decision, I said, listen, if I F up, I'm going to fix it. Right? That's what I'm going to do. Just let me do what I got to do for us to move in this direction. If I mess up, I'll fix it. And let me tell you, I've been married it'll be 36 years in August. And here's the one indicator, I'm going to shut up on this, that I know my wife is okay. Because when she lays her head down on the pillow, she's out within a minute.
All right. Yeah. I salute you for being married 36 years. That's almost as long as I'm alive. And I just want to say this, though. Dating changed in 2008. So anything after 2008 is a whole different.
Trying to tell them.
I'm not disagreeing with that. But what you mean by that, though, bro? Because even if dating changes, vetting and courting a woman really has to. Maybe the list got longer.
No, the list is actually shorter, but the vetting disappeared in the court. What? Man, I got tacos. Look, here's the thing. Here's the thing.
Go ahead.
The reason I believe that marriage should die, and I'm not anti-marriage, I'm not anti-family, but Black women are. If you look at
some Black women are.
No. The majority. Look.
Well, okay, even if we say most Black women are.
Okay, so like this. By 2030, marriage.
You married, you can't argue with us. We in the matrix.
Look, by the year 2030, the Black marriage rate is projected to be 2%, with a plus or minus 2% ratio.
Mm-hmm.
So
okay, can we before you go on, is that Black man and Black woman or Black man?
Nobody cares about Black men, so it's Black.
No. Well, let me ask you the question: is that Black men with Black women or Black men with any woman?
Okay, black men with any woman. If black men would date any woman, then black male marriage rates would be 60%. The fact that y'all prefer black women is wild to be 2%. Black
Is that
women hate
changing?
family. Right now, if you take out the baby boomers, if you just go 60 years and younger,
I'm with you. I agree with you.
the marriage rate is 9% right now. If you take out and it's projected to be 2%. And that's not because men don't want family. It's not because men don't want a son that looks like him that he can play catch with. It's because women hate family. Because women hate instruction, they hate direction, they don't see it's like, okay, I'm normally a funny guy, right? Naturally funny, right? But if I've been with girls who thought I wasn't funny at all. I go outside with my friends and she just happened to be there. They laugh and she laughs. And she's like, "You never funny like this at home." I'm like, "Sure, these are the same jokes." You know what I'm saying? There's you said respect. Respect is a huge thing. Black women treat black men like white women treat black men, as a fetish. They fetishize their own men. You know what I'm saying? So as long as I could stay toxic all day, I sleep with everybody. Every girl in the chat be like, I don't like him. That's the ones that sleep with me because they like to sleep with guys they don't like. What they don't like is to find out I can read above a 6th grade level and I don't have a parole officer. Then they be like, ew. They just toxic people. And that's why men have to create a standard that works for men. You can't be egalitarian all the time. That's how you get conquered because the girl gonna give you up like Pocahontas.
You know, see, you just said something that's important. Men need to. Well, I'll let you go, Austin. Let me just say this. You just said something important. Men need to be on their own square and set a standard for themselves. For what purpose? I'm gonna ask you, why would we do that? To attract the women we want, right?
No, I'm doing it because I
Part of it
I
is
want 3 letters on a license plate and get a UN slot. The girl's gonna sleep with the logo. Let me tell you something. Girl, and this is very powerful too. When men are on a square, girls will always show up to mess up your fun.
I agree with that. Well,
girls will come through and try to mess up your lodge, frat, crew, clique, gang. I know a girl who fine, bro. She like a Chicago 9, which is like a Cali 7. She fine though. You know what I'm saying? And she slept with 26 dudes just to be a sister of the struggle for the GDs. Like girls will do whatever for whatever prestige they're looking for until they come of age. And then they'll tell other women, don't let a man lead you. That's the whole grooming argument they having now. Men just want young women because they want to control. No, that's I'm training you for the position that you want. They don't want women that have training. They want to be belligerent. They want to be agents of chaos. And then when they turn 45 and on their last ovary, they want you to be a step granddaddy and pay all our bills. This ain't life.
They want to make TikToks about, all the men that they disrespected, how they were never good enough. And then when they're older, on the other side of it, it's like, well, where's my man? Where's my good man? And they have all the regrets, all that crap.
But here's the problem, your brother. You're right. However, it's not. I don't think your percentages are exactly right. I just don't. I know it's dire straits. I know that it's like a needle in the haystack. But I think there's more than just one needle in the haystack, right? It's just I don't think men want to do the work to ferret out the kind of women that are women that are worth savings. And maybe you have to go a little younger. That's why they're starting to shame men who look for women in their early 20s, right? Because that's exactly what you're looking for. The truth of the matter is you got to find women who have a modicum, I say a modicum of virtue left. And as men, we don't talk enough about a woman's virtue. And I don't let me just say this. Instead of attacking women with all these other things, I believe a woman who's born with inherent value because they can reproduce by a man's sperm is that the thing they need to do while we're earning our way in life, they need to be protecting their virtue. And I don't think we say that enough as men.
I don't think that there's enough domestic violence in the Black community. Look.
You don't think there's enough violence?
No, he said domestic violence, but I think what he's talking about is in the context of raising children, disciplining them, showing them better interactions. That's what I got from it. That's
what we're hoping he said, right?
No. I'll tell you what I mean. It's okay. I'll tell you what I mean. First of all, for her having a virtue to be born with the ability to breed, I'm born with the ability to have seed. That washes itself out. I don't care about that. But I do agree that she really doesn't have valuable clothes on. But here's the thing. But here's the thing. When I say that, I said it from the auspice of the reason that you're hoping to vet, you're hoping that she is properly treated, you're hoping she respects you, is because there's no system of reprimand for women. Men have all type of systems of reprimand. We can't do anything wrong. You know what I'm saying? But until you can check your girl, then respect is a hope. You hope she respects you. You hope she won't kidnap your kids. You hope that she'll respect the vows, because there's no penalty for her to leave. Her being bored, you never doing anything to her, and her being bored, she can leave and take your kids. Even if you ain't got on bread, just take your kids.
I'm gonna shut up on this part. Let me just shut up on this part. Listen, when I say to people that have been married for a long time, I think I'm not married in a vacuum. The woman that I married, she stayed a woman her whole life. She's still a woman now. So I'm trying to be here to tell you. Let me just finish. Let me just finish this. All I'm trying to say is she's subject to the same mores and the same influences that everybody else is. So all I'm just trying to say, I don't think it's hopeless to find a woman who can make a decision to stay in above all the bullcrap that's going on out there. So if a woman that could put up with my shit for a lifetime, because I'm not perfect, I'm not a unicorn. There's got to be more women out there like that, right? And and Triple M says, we got to just show them, if we want them, through a vetting process, that, okay, woman, you have enough virtue left, enough integrity left, that maybe, just maybe, you'll agree with the vows and stick with them. And just people getting married every day. Now, I'm not saying those marriages are great, because men are not really vetting a woman properly. But we need to, because the last bastion of male dominance is we have to ask a woman to marry us. That's our last thing that we own. And if you ask a woman to marry you, and you get on your knee, but you haven't done all the prerequisite shit to marry that woman, then shame on you.
Okay, I have a question. What's the prerequisite stuff?
Okay, I got my 10 steps on my thing. But number one, if you're a man of means and you got money, you can't get married without a prenup. So at engagement, I'm gonna be quick. In engagement time, there's 2 questions you have to ask her. I'm gonna get on my knee. I'm gonna ask you to marry me, but at this time, you also have to agree that we're gonna negotiate a prenup. And in the prenup, you got this processes. So that's one thing. If she says yes to the engagement, she has to say yes to the prenup, so you can protect your assets. Because
man, most men ain't gonna do that. We know that.
No. But you still have to say it.
Well, let's be honest.
You still have to say it.
I get that, but let's just throw in some data here. The average black man's net worth is $17,000.
No. That's in the beginning.
Wait. Let's go one better. Let's go one better. Let's go one better. I think that within the marriage contract, before there is within the contract of being married, prenuptial agreement ought to be a part of the original marriage contract. I don't think it needs to be a separate thing at all.
Well, let me just say this whole thing, that most men don't have nothing when they get married. The point is that even if that's true, then you could decide, if you don't have nothing when you get married, you don't have to have a prenup, because everything you build after you get married, she probably deserves half. If she's a good woman, you ain't got no assets to worry about. So I'm talking about men of means. That's why I started with that.
If I'm being real, nobody deserves half of anybody anything. Ask a woman. Ask a woman if a man deserves half of the company she built. She gonna say, "Fuck no."
Yeah, but she don't have a prenup. You could take it though.
No matter wait. No matter who Oprah Winfrey marries, no matter who she marries, no bruh's getting half. I don't care how much pipe. I don't care how much. But hey, she's a woman who's built an empire, right? She marries. But she marries. He's not getting half. He ain't
getting half. Euphemism, EBD. You know, I understand. Whatever it is.
Trigger Mike for governor in 2040 something. This is going on the chart. Everybody that gets married is leaving out with the shit, the clothes they came with on their goddamn back.
Nice.
And you're only obligated to take care of the children. In addition to that, if you have children,
Okay.
At the age of 9 years old, they mandatorily have to be turned over to their father, and
That's
she
too
has to
late.
pay child support. So, shit,
And you get
that's
one
fair.
female vote. You get one female vote.
Trigger, let me ask you this.
You don't need and I'm a conservative. You don't need female vote. Well, I'm sorry. More female. I'm sorry. The female. You will be surprised how many females that will vote for that shit.
No, I wouldn't.
Conservative females will vote for that shit.
Well, you think
Trigger,
about all the
let me
single
ask you
mothers
this, Trigger.
now who have children that are above 9. Yeah, they're gonna vote for that. Yeah, send these kids to their father and this and that because they can't handle it.
No, I was gonna say if you bring out the male base,
9, bro, above 4
That's
years.
That's kind of late, man. That's kind of
go ahead,
late.
Dirty Folks. What you say?
No, I was just saying he was like above 9. I'm like above 4. Let me explain something to you. Black women really don't want their kids past 2 years old. They just don't want their biological father to have them. They'll give them to me. If I give them a shiny pamphlet, they'll give me their kid. I'm like, I'll put them in boarding school. They're like, here, take my kid. I can show up a picture day and say I did it all by myself. Yep. All right, cool. They
No, so that's actually something that could be.
You know what? Man, we need Trey up here, man. He'd be a nice partner for you right now.
I honestly don't think that single mothers want their children without the father attached. If the father ain't in that house, they don't want that. They don't want those kids at all. The kids, they treat them like shit. They abuse them like they're the most abusive mothers that ever lived. So let's get this next question popping. Let's read these super chats real quick. For the love of the game, Mr. Rich, we appreciate that. Big Ant, top that, $10. What up, Trigger Mike? When I look at Fresh and Fit, I just see 2 sheep with a mic. Oh, got you. All right, appreciate that. Y'all send those super chats in. Thank y'all. For this next question, I want y'all to dialogue with us. Shout out to the chat and everybody participating. I'm going to drop that link again for those of you that want to come up. We got 163 people watching right now and only 83 likes. Get those likes up right now. Go ahead and smash that like button. Show your support to the Trigger Mike Show and the Lapeef Network. Hit that subscribe button if you have not already. All right, what do we got for the next one? EBD, we're going to start with you on this one. Can an ethnic group survive without traditional women?
Not for very long. Not for very long, because it requires leadership from men. Men typically have a purpose or find it, which means that they have direction, a sense of direction, and they know where they're going. The problem, most of the problem in not in any tribe, but in our tribe in particular, is we have women who think that there is no longer a necessity to follow a man's leadership, listen to a man, or respect a man. So they go in the direction that they feel, and they're out here lost, right? They're a lost tribe of women that are complaining about men, the men that they don't want to listen to, they don't want to follow, they don't want to respect, and they don't want to marry. So yeah, it's not, I mean, survival, I mean, there are different levels of survival, but an ethnic group as ours, I mean, we've been surviving since we got here. We haven't been, quote unquote, thriving until maybe 2023, where we have a few millionaires, maybe 1 or 2 billionaires, things like that. But when we're talking about a group like as together, there's so many things that need to be rebooted. We need our own everything. We need our own government, laws, schools, media. We need our own everything so that we can navigate spaces properly that cater to our thriving, not just surviving. We need to be thriving, and we can only do that when we have complete control over our destiny from birth to death.
I don't even disagree with you. I think you misused the word tribe, but I don't even disagree with you. And I know it's totally possible, but men would have to do it. I think that one of the worst things that's happened in the last 70 years is you keep bringing women to the table and asking them to build. Women aren't builders; they're interior decorators.
So build with taking that one, by the way.
You know what I mean? You keep hiding behind skirts and saying because she's black, but women are tribal. No woman is tribal of any ethnic group. They just sleep with the winner, right? The white women in Normandy, France, were sleeping with Nazis on Monday.
With the Germans,
yeah,
they were sleeping with the Germans before the body was even cold.
You feel what I'm saying? The French had to shave their hairs to know which ones was busting down the ops. Like, no woman is loyal because women don't have a code. Men have a code. Men are tribal. Men kill for the tribal crest. Women more than likely do the Pocahontas and teach them the language and how to get through the Appalachian Mountains because she's bored. So men would have to do that. But I agree with you. And, you know, it is what it is, man. But one of the worst things about colors is they hate the best and brightest. So And women know they can't maintain. That's what they always want every man to step up. Every man got to protect them. Every man has to do everything because they're egalitarian by nature. And they think that black men are slaves, really. But once men decide to be men instead of black, you can rebrand it however you want. I've been renamed 3 times in my life. Been black. Well, I've been Negro. I've been black and African American. My dad has been Negro, black, and African American. My grandfather was colored Negro, black, and African American. I remember him cussing out the Social Security Board or whoever it was, Secretary of State, when they put African American on his replacement birth certificate. He said, "I was Negro in 1926. I wanted to say Negro now." So, I mean, if you want to rebrand yourself, America will let you. But you just have to have a code. But the code comes with men. The code of standards and behavior come from men. Women just do whatever. Women are great at following instructions. They're horrible leaders.
Yeah, you paraphrase something I say on the show all the time. I say women are terrible at creating rules, but they can follow them. They don't create rules. They don't create any structure. In fact, any rule they create, they will break them goddamn selves. So, but they can follow within any structure. They can follow some rules that men create. Absolutely. All right. Who we got next? Triple M. Can an ethnic group survive without traditional women?
Without traditional women? Unfortunately, most women today are not traditional. So while we may say that we can't survive without them, we're going to have to figure out a way. Either we're going to have to figure out a way of making it work with women as they are today, or we're going to have to figure out a way that we can produce a generation of women who are looking forward to being traditional. This is why I always say that it goes back to the way we raise our kids. But if the argument is that, well, I'm just not going to participate and I'm just not going to work with women because they don't know what they're talking about, how things ever going to change? If women keep saying that I don't want to be married because I don't see the value in it, okay, well then what are we saying? Because we're not stopping, childbirth is not going away. So what's the solution there? I mean, I don't know. That's why I'm asking. But as far as
slavery, women really want to be slaves. Subjugation, slavery.
You
can be branded as secretary, you know what I'm saying? Because they're not loyal to their husband, but they're loyal to their employer. You can, you know what I'm saying? They want to be paid for a relationship. You can give them tasks and duties. It's a lot of ways you can do it. The thing is, women are survivalists. They're not traditionalists. When Trump got in office and he put a brain surgeon in his head of HUD, I don't know why, but one of the first things Ben Carson said is he was going to get rid of Section 8 because it was a huge strain on the economy. He didn't do it, but he proposed it. When he proposed it, a city right outside of Cleveland, it's not Akron, it's another city right outside of Cleveland or Columbus, all these cities are seas in Ohio. Anyway, one of those cities came out and they said, based on the HUD financing, we're going to cut Section 8 vouchers on someday. It was like 90 days out. The photo went viral. I don't even know if it was a real photo, to be honest. It looked official, but I don't even know if the document was real. But they posted it. There's like 1,800 comments, all black women. Like, I gotta use a girl voice. I say I'm gonna have to get back on my baby daddy. Like they know what to do. They know what to do when times are dire. Guys keep helping black women for free with intellectual property, feeding them, being stepdaddies. Y'all should starve them out. Same shit. Once you they'll know how to act.
Damn, dirty folks. This is the truth that people do not want to hear. I have so much faith in black people that I am willing to starve you out because I know you won't starve. Like, this is where people don't actually say, no, we need help. No, you don't. You need to walk on your own 2 goddamn feet. Every man needs to not send money to your sister, not send money to your brother. Kick them out of your house, evict them, and watch them arrive. Watch them rise to the occasion. This is the reason, like, so many people are lazy. But let me answer the question. I forgot what I was going to respond to Money, Marriage, and Media about, but can an ethnic group survive without traditional women? Absolutely not. So this is speaking to what I was talking about in the monologue, where the dude said, we are not traditional people anymore. We need to make norms for the modern people that we are. That's bullshit. We already are in a modern time. Every other ethnic group in America thought about it. The women thought about it. This is what I think they did. Those women were like, ooh, look at what black women doing over there. Ooh, They giving their men a piece of their mind. Let's see how this works. Hey, Ho June, let's see how this works. Oh shit, their children gone wayward. Oh shit, their children are killers. Oh goddamn, their men don't want them to. No, I'm good. I'm good over here in my safety. So everybody used the black community as a experiment to say, okay, these women tried their men this way. Let's see if it worked. It has not worked. You're having children out of wedlock at an alarming rate, at the greatest rate in the United States. These children, the boys, first off, have a 4th grade reading level on average. Adult boys. Nothing in your modern strategy works. So we already saw it. We've had like damn near 60 years, the same process, showing you that it does not work. And the worst part about it is as your women become non-traditional, your ethnic group dies. That is my point. The saddest part about this is that men can just go choose other women. So if men go choose Mexicans, which are coming in here actually looking for somebody to take care of their ass, you will have racially ambiguous blacks. And eventually they won't be labeled as blacks no more. Maybe, maybe not. Then the women will raise whatever kids they do have and die off. That means that if in 50 to 70 years, all of the people that are my color, Mr. Rich color, dirty folks, marriage media, because y'all kind of light over here, EBD and Ashton, they're going to be African. We will be reading about Black Americans in a fucking history book because the second your women become non-traditional, they no longer have babies for the purpose of putting them under the protection of their father. You have no more ethnic group. You can't do anything without traditional women because they won't want to stay in the house with you. The government told them they can raise them by themselves. Those children will end up in jail. Those men will not marry the women they impregnate, and then your ethnic group dies. That is the ultimate point
They
here.
cannot. Not that they will not. They cannot. Okay. Everything you said is true because they are all slave breeders. That's why they think you're a slave. They cannot. If I told you something alarming like 64% of Black women with 3 or more children have those with 4% of men. Because that's the truth. If I tell you that if a woman has 3 or more kids, because none of these kids got matching last names no more, that it's going to be about 3 or more men. Those 3 or more men may only have 1 kid with that woman. That may be the only kid they have, paying child support or abandoned, whatever the case may be. But they have over 4% of men. That's selective breeding, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you're telling me that they can selectively breed because they can make their own decisions, and if girls make decisions, it's always going to be the wrong decision, then you'll be in a position because they're not under adult supervision. They just toddlers without adult supervision. There's no dad setting up arranged marriage. As a matter of fact, there's a lot of dudes who got sex that shouldn't have gotten sex.
That's true.
Who hate men as much as the women that they sleeping with hate men. Anytime I hear I'm gonna give my daughter a college plan, so she don't need no man, I say, yo, you don't know any good men? You know what I'm saying? You don't have a brother, a guy that you love like a brother, and you say, man, I think that your daughter and my son should play date, at least get to know each other. You don't know any good men? That's a you problem. I need to stay away from you. You know what I'm saying?
It's really the mindset, right? The modern mindset. The woman, the biology, the looks, the height, the whatever, that's one thing. But the mindset is toxic and poisonous. And that's what we kind of have to try and change and save. But the question is, how do you do that, right? In the modern era, we can't, like Triple M said, you go past a certain age for modern women and they're just unsalvageable. They're set in their ways. That's it. But with the younger generation, we may have a chance to actually change that mindset and to say, hey, you know what? Instead of looking at how I would explain it is, look, you're 18, 19, 20, 21, whatever, right? I need you to do me a favor and do your social media homework. Look at all the women online who are 35 and older, and you need to check them out, that they're single and this and that. Pay attention to what they're saying, and then you need to pay attention to what your 25, 26, 27-year-olds are saying about men. And you need to understand that this 26, 27, and 28 or year old that will grow into this 40-year-old woman who is single and alone. If you don't want this result, if you do not want this, and you want to stay in a Mr. Payne marriage, 36 years and going, no divorce, this is what you need to understand if you want this outcome. And we need an entire generation that has now with the internet, kind of like a scroll reel, right? You're watching a video. The first thing it shows you is what women are saying, 26, 27, whatever. Then it shows 40, 35, what they're saying. I wish I had a man. Where's my? Then it's like, look at what you said, and then now look at where you are. You did this to yourself. Men, patriarchy did not do this for you. Okay, you did it to yourself. If you want a better outcome for a result, watch this space. Watch about these women. Watch how they move. They're not talking like these women over here. And look at their results. That's kind of how we're going to have to do these things.
11 years old. Look at 11-year-olds. If you're saying that boys can't read past the 4th grade level, you're 9 years old then. Look at 11-year-olds. When I look at 11-year-old little girls doing the dumbest, I'm like, why are you doing that? They're like, are you just old? You don't know what's going on. Why are you clipping off your real 1-inch nails to put on fake 1-inch nails? You ain't with the times. No, that makes no sense. When I'm talking to nephews and even my friends' my friends' sons, stuff like that, and they 11, 12 years old, coming to me as a confidant, like, yo, when I get older, they're not even dating, they prepubescent. When I get older, I want to date white girls. Why? Because black girls are mean. And one of my guys, actually, he didn't confront his son, but his son told me that. I was laughing. I said, did you tell your dad? He said, nah. I said, well, maybe you should have this conversation with your dad. His dad comes. I say, man, tell your dad what you say. He said, I don't want to date black girls. And his father said, why not? Your sister's black. Your mother's black. Your grandmother's black. Why wouldn't you want a beautiful black woman? He said, because my sister's mean, my grandma's mean, my mama's mean, all the black girls at school are mean, white girls are nice to me. Every black girl I know is mean to me. And I said, this boy has more sense than I did at 12 when my grandmother was telling me if she can't use your comb, don't bring her home. Like, and to my boy credit, he was like, do what make you happy. So that goes back to Trigger Mike saying men can get anybody. So it'd be a bunch of beige babies out here.
That's cool. Hey, Austin,
Yeah,
you got something to say?
I agree.
Hey, Austin, you have something to say?
Yeah, I agree with Dirty Folks. But Payne, like, to show you that you kind of far behind, and EBD, you kind of there with them, but marriage and politics, I feel like I hear what you're saying. I'm gonna just tell y'all this one little story. This is what made me move to Houston for good. So I'm walking through the projects, just minding my business. At whatever age that the little girls do the little chalk boxes and they jump on them, whatever's hopscotch, minding my business, I hit the corner. This girl probably no more than 6 years old, outside with another little girl. Why she telling her little friend, "Oh, I want a dude that's gonna be 22. He got 22-inch rims." How she know all that at 6 years old?
Music.
Home.
Yeah, home.
Her mama.
It's not the music.
Like, I get what you're saying, Payne, about we need to stand on our square, but they kicking these men out the household so they can be the leaders. I get exactly what you're saying, Payne, but it's a whole different time now. And the fact that they got our 6-year-old little girls out here like that, why they playing hopscotch? I can't get down with that. We need to do something about that.
I don't disagree with you. Let me just go on this question though, Triple M. Listen. I don't believe that without traditional women, I think the community is dead as we know it anyway. So I agree with that. Without traditional women or women who are willing to be traditional, we're done.
I think they are traditional women.
So I don't disagree with you, Austin, either. I'm just saying that we can't just say that. Even though every woman and every person, man and woman, are under the modern times, I just don't believe that it's down to zero that we can't find women who are willing to be traditional. I just don't believe that. I really don't.
I mean, Mr. Rich, here's the bad part. It's not even about the numbers. It's how can we get to the greatest? So here's really what's dooming the black community. Because I thought about this too. Like, man, what can we start? And especially the boys. It starts with the boys. I would not even give, the women will acquiesce to whatever the men's demands are. If men literally said, We're not messing with you 304s no more. Y'all hoes. Well, I want a clean one. I want a chase woman. I want this. They're like the clubs will dry up. But the things that I'm looking at is who has influence over these boys. Then when I realized that less than a quarter of black women are married, and like Dirty Folks said, under the age of 60, only 9% of them are. That means that you have co-parenting situations in which the mother has primary custody. So that is the engine that is fueling the toxic mindset of our boys and girls. So even when they're a little bit malleable, by the time we get to actually interface with them, they are overly sexualized. They are underperforming in so many areas simply because they only had their mother's teaching in their life. Like these are the boys, because people be like, well, why don't you do work in the community, Trigger Mike? Because I don't want to waste my goddamn money. When people, everything we're doing is a Band-Aid solution. I used to do programs with Alpha with my fraternity in the communities. The mothers would drop them off. We said bring them with lunch. So now a bunch of new college students just graduated college, piecing together money for our pockets to get stuff off the dollar menu because their mama didn't want to make them lunch. Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, who raised that? That's the part that used to, we be like, who raised these people? Their moms. So until dads can actually go forcibly take these kids so they can be under their charge, we're going to have the same recurrent problem over and over.
Trigger Mike, let me add to what you're just saying. I hear we're talking about all the problems. We're talking about all the issues. And we know we're in dire straits. That's why I don't disagree with Dirty Folks or Austin, right? It's true. Not Austin, but Ashton, right? So I don't disagree. But what's the solution? Let's just say where we are, all the dire straits that we're in is absolutely true. How do you rise like a phoenix out of that? That's what I'm saying. That's the issue. We're not talking about
what? No, you're right. You're right. But what I'm saying is, at some point, we may have to accept that you don't. This is why. I'm gonna get to you, Triple M. I'm gonna get to you, Triple M. Do you know who? I'm gonna be honest with y'all. Do y'all know who I consider as the black community? Do y'all know who I consider the black community? The black men and fathers, and even the black women that prioritize family bonding. You don't necessarily have to be married, but even if you're in an amicable co-parenting situation in which you understand the necessity for the mother and the father together raising their children so they can make better outcomes for themselves, those are the only people I consider black, like part of the black community. People that do it that way. It's about the children, it ain't about us. And so we may have too many people that are far gone from that ideology. It cannot be saved. They can't.
Okay.
You know,
Trigger, they had a part to play too.
You know, I said in the beginning, you know, we got to do a better job of raising our kids. You could call it making them more traditional, whatever you want to. My point is that they need to be working in cooperation with one another. Number two, we need to improve the vetting process. A lot of the times we don't use the tools that we have. Women, this is an obvious one, right? Your father wants the best for you. Yep. Again, why would you not trust introducing a man that you're interested in a long-term relationship? Why would you not want to introduce him to your father so that he can actually say, okay, you know, get to know him? The other part of that is we need to stop assuming that the vetting process is just supposed to be one sit down. That's not how that works. It's supposed to be multiple sit downs where the men can have conversations. Now, the other part that's missing about the vetting process is men. When you meet a woman who you're not sure about, why can't you introduce her to the matriarch of your family, especially if she's married? Because again, the matriarch of your family is not going to care about how fine she is or how good her sex game is. They were more concerned about, does this woman have relationship skills? Is she there to help you?
So again, Triple M, the interesting part about what you just said is that if you come from a traditional home and you trust your mother, I took my girlfriend, who is now my wife, to my mother. These men do not trust their mothers. They don't trust their mothers at all. Their mothers are more likely to sabotage their relationship than help them with it, in my opinion. What do y'all think?
Again, listen to what I said. The matriarch of your family who's more than likely married. Now, I get it. There's not a lot of married women out here.
Are we willing to accept that some black men literally have no examples of that? and no one to turn to?
Okay, again, this is also why I wanted to get to this. Why I say that we need more married people making content on YouTube, so you're not locked into to just your immediate surroundings. That you have a point of reference of different ways that relationships can work over time.
Now, Triple M. I ain't trying to cut you. I ain't trying to cut you out. I just want to add to it. I know for a fact married women don't get the answers to these young women out here, and I wouldn't either. I have seen multiple women go up to the woman that's getting married and say, "How you do it?" And they say, "Oh, I just prayed about it." That's just another way to say, "Get the fuck out my face." They ain't telling you nothing. Am I lying, Trigger? Am I lying?
You not.
They don't want you. They don't want these women to go on these marriage retreats with them. They want to be by it, and I don't blame them. Well, I get it.
Okay,
but that's what these modern women gotta learn.
I ain't got
these modern women gotta learn that they been getting lied to.
There's still one more point that I wanted to get to.
Yeah, I didn't cut you off. I just wanted to throw that in there.
The other thing that we have to do is we need to update our idea of what marriage looks like. Because one of the bigger problems is that we all talk about the divorce rate with women and they'll leave you at the drop of a hat, right? Again, when I say that we need more married people making content, the whole point is that we get different examples of working relationships. Because right now what happens is that, particularly women, they see that, well, this ain't working like I seen on TV or whoever ex celebrity is, their marriage ain't like this. So it's only one or two ways this can work. This ain't working. I don't want to do this. It's too hard. I'm gone. But yet again, if you had more examples of married people making content on YouTube, a platform that can be shared, well, now we're saying it turns into a buffet scenario where, you know what, I'm going to take what I want and leave the rest, whatever works for my family and myself. This also piggybacks onto what it is that women complain about, the fact that men aren't men anymore, even though that's a fallacy. But there is a lacking of actual husbands in our image, right? Again, if we have more people like Trigger Mike out here who are saying that I'm gonna host a show and it's going to have undertones that as men, we need to do better as becoming leaders in our households. Well, now we have more references and examples to live by. It goes back to, again, how do we get out of this situation where we need to do a better job of raising our kids? We need to, the girls that are coming up in our community aren't wives anymore. Okay, but what examples do they have of that? Well, there are none in the community. Okay, but we have social media now where we can you can get examples online. But again, I wholeheartedly agree. I believe that we need to keep more examples coming of that so that there are more examples to go by and not just one or two out there.
Okay, here's the thing. I don't agree that women should talk with clothes on because they're going to say something dumb. And I will argue what is traditional. If you're talking about traditional, you're talking about subjugation. Because my grandmother was what they call the great generation, silent generation. My grandmother was born in 1919 and 1926. You know what I'm saying? My parents are old when they had me. My parents are boomers. So when I look at my grandparents, my grandmother was a bra burner. She was married to my grandfather, was married to the day he died. You know what I'm saying? They were married from the late 1930s all the way to 2001 when they passed. And she was a bra burner. And she was teaching her daughter to be a bra burner. When my aunt came up, she was a bra burner. By the time my aunt was an adult, my grandmother had settled into, I'm glad I got a husband. So the advice that my grandmother would give me about girls at 50 when I met her, you know what I'm saying, is different than the advice she gave her daughter at 25 when she had her, right? Flip side, the advice that my mother gave my older sister, because I got a sister like 10, 11 years older than me. So the advice that I remember at 5 years old, my mother telling my 16-year-old sister, when I turned 16, it was a totally different piece of advice. You know what I'm saying? And the advice was really to make me a slave. My sister was keep $2 in your pocket, man, only want one thing. When I come up is give her flowers, walk on the outside. I'm like, nah, give me that same advice you gave my sister. You know what I'm saying?
Dirty folks, can I ask you a question? What would be your solution? I hear what you're saying, and I don't disagree.
My solution would be. I'll tell you because if you guys really do believe, even though I do not believe that men are the gatekeepers of marriage, but even if you guys believe that, let's go off that premise. If that's the case, then men need to put what I call when I on my channel, I say put corporate in your life. What men need is their own coalition because you're not dating a woman. A woman is dating you. This is what I mean. When it's you and her, you're with her, but she's dating you. But you're not just dating her. You're dating her, her friends, the court system, the police, social media. She has a whole coalition in your relationship while you're just dating her. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Give me that same thing. Like when I go through situations, I have real life friends, and my real life friends be like, "Yo, that she ain't that, bro." You know what I'm saying? Or man, you need to stick with that one, bro. Work it out. Men need to put more men in a relationship, colloquially, not literally.
I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
Trucker Yell.
I mean, before you go
Yes,
on,
sir.
though, before you go, Trucker, let's end this kind of. See, that's what I'm saying. See, I don't want to argue like dirty folks. I wouldn't argue your points because I think a lot of them are, true in this day and age. But we still need to somehow find solutions, even in the environment that you talk about, right? And you gave me a little piece of what you were thinking about. I think we need to go further with that because I do agree that if you're vetting a woman and courting her, it's not just her; it's all the influences that's around her as well. But the issue, but let me just say this, Mike. But the issue is, you still have to vet her to your satisfaction. And if you're not satisfied, you shouldn't ask her to marry you.
Yeah.
If you're not,
one.
But that's
so
not the
I don't.
issue,
So
though.
my thing is
well,
that
what's the issue? Let me. I
don't want to cut out Mike, but I'm saying that's not the issue. When you love a woman, men are committed to whatever they commit to. Like even when men aren't happy in a marriage, they stick in the marriage.
Yeah.
So that's why I say I don't think men control marriage because most divorces and most.
I disagree with you. I disagree with you.
I think we just control.
You can't absolve a man.
Wait. No one's getting married without the man asking a woman.
No, I think what he's saying is a different play on it. You know what I mean? What dirty folks are saying.
I hear where you come. Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, but when we talk solution based, like I'm really more of a dramatic type of person because what we're doing is saying that we're looking back and trying to save the degeneracy. No other group of people on earth do that. They literally disregard their degenerates, and this is actually the best thing you can do for them. I'm not being facetious here. The best thing you can do is turn your back on them. Just like he said, if you stop helping them, they will rise to the occasion and start helping themselves. When you isolate them from the society that you are building, remember I said I only see Black people as people who take care of business. Men that show up to pick up their kids from daycare, don't even matter if they with the mom. They show up, make shit work and all that type of stuff. Those are the only people I see as Black people. Everybody else is a fucking scum of the earth to me. All right? So when you limit access to you, meaning when you don't invite the people who don't get right to birthday parties, when you don't allow them their dysfunction into your functional family and your functional group, what does that tell them? Oh shit, what do I got to do and what do I have to make myself to be accepted by my own people? That is what we don't have because they can walk up in our shit anytime. They feel they have the right and license to be like, well, I can go back to the hood and fuck Pookie. I can go to such and such house in the suburbs and give it. Like they feel like they have license and access to be who they want, when they want, and they can jump in and out of any class group like they want to. We need to give the Heisman to the people who get right and be like, you're not one of us. We don't do that. We accept degeneracy in our elite circle, and we need to stop that.
I agree. I think that I will take it one step further and say the elite circle needs to rebrand. Yep. When white people didn't want to be trailer park, they just grabbed the Bible and said, "Yo, we tiny hats now."
Yep, that's true. That's true.
It is what it is.
Maybe more than that, we need to take control of our own narrative and pretty much have a space for married people, married Black men and women who have been together for 4 or 5 decades. Our grandparents. Maybe we need to hear more from our grandparents, our parents who are still married, about what it takes to make a relationship work what their dating process was like compared to now. Of course, the biggest influence is going to be internet and social media. But even now, they're still making it work. Even with all the social media and crap now today, basketball wives, our parents and grandparents make it work.
Mr. Payne, that's your cue to come in.
Game, though.
Mr. Payne, you supposed to be coming in at that point.
I wanted him to finish. I wanted him to finish speaking. I wanted him because I did want to say something. We have some examples. We have security boards. You have dated to marriage. You have, what's her name? Sade. There's some people starting to talk out about, their relationships. We have my man Bruiser, who's married. I mean, there's a lot of this, not a lot, but there's more and more. We have Crimson Cure, who just got married. We got a lot of folks who's trying to talk.
Yeah, I got married 2 years ago. I was shocked.
And the reason why I don't. Well, let me finish, Truck. I'm gonna give it to you. The one reason why I don't talk a lot about hitting black women, because after Crimson Cure, I don't have to say anything about black women. She covers all of that stuff, man. She's just perfect for listening to.
But they don't like listening to her.
But go ahead, Trucker. You said you had. Go ahead, Trucker. You didn't go yet.
You speak too much shit they don't like.
Oh no.
Well, that's great.
You was cooking. How y'all doing, fellas? Everything all right with y'all?
Whatever. Yes,
so it's a good conversation because I just had this conversation with my 11-year-old son because one of my wife's cousin came down to Dallas. She got mad at my son because he said he don't want to be with a black woman. And he told her, like, I see how black women treat black men. His exact words, he's only 11 years old. So, what I'm saying? Like, I want him to be with a black woman, but at the same time, I don't want him to get paid for a fool or get treated unappreciated, none of that. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people really believe like men don't have no value at all until shit hit the fan. And also, yes, somebody said something about a lot of dudes, they can't take their girl to get vetted because of their mothers. Yes, that is a fact. I was one of them. The good thing I had the great generation still in my life to vet. So when I got the approval from from both of them, it's been 10 years now, So, it's just messed up, man. I mean, the only solution I see that could possibly happen is people need to start cutting people off. But I don't think that's ever gonna happen because a lot of them people they gonna have to cut off is their own mothers and fathers, and their sisters and brothers and nieces, and they ain't gonna do that.
Bro. You don't go to family reunions. You can't make me believe it. People already cut off family.
Nah.
Oh, do you
Nah, bro. They not
do y'all understand there's gonna be no such thing as a family reunion with no traditional family? Do y'all know that? Ain't gonna be no more family reunion.
Yeah, nobody's not willing to actually sit down with their mother and have a real conversation. Not tiptoe, no sugarcoat, none of that. They're not gonna do it because they always, most people are afraid to have that conversation for real, even though they know their mama that put so much trauma in their life. But they quick to do that with the fathers. Oh, they'll let the fathers know you ain't shit immediately.
So again, one of the things that I mentioned before is that if you don't have a mom that you can do that with, then who is the matriarch in your family that's married? That's who you should be sitting down with. If you don't have one, okay, this is why YouTube is a free platform. There's plenty of married women out here. We just named some of them that have platforms. While they're not going to be able to give you as in-depth of a summary of what you're dealing with, it's still better than sitting down trying to have a conversation with a woman you just flat out don't trust.
Well, that's what I did. I mean, that's what I did. I didn't go to my mom. I went to my grandmother's, and I went to my aunt who been in her marriage since she was like 18. Her and her husband, and I mean, they still together. You know what I'm saying? That was like from the 80s. So them is the three people I went to. You know, it's just again, a lot of people they just not gonna do it.
My thing is,
So
women don't see that though. They don't see that they mothers are horrible and they daddy really
Well,
didn't just up and leave out of nowhere. So I
They
mean,
they
because they
Ashton,
it's
I'm
it's
gonna put
be,
it,
it's
Ashton,
because
I'm
they
gonna put
don't
it in the
like the
back chat
truth,
for you.
bro.
I'm gonna
I
actually put it in the
realize
back chat for you. So this is the thing. This is the thing with the community and the state that it's in. You're right. When they are young, that's all they know. That's all they've been indoctrinated into knowing. But as they grow older, as they mature, as they become more conservative in thinking, as they have their own children, as they fail at their own relationships because of the way they were brought up, they start to develop a resentment toward their mother. I'm gonna send you something that says
but
men
no, they
don't
don't.
want to, it's an article that says men do not want to take care of their mothers. Why
Hold on,
would
trick,
they?
trick.
Yeah,
Are
go
you
ahead.
talking about the women or the men
Both.
that do that? Nah, I would say the men do,
the men
but
do
the
the women.
women, no, they don't.
No,
They
no, the
don't
Nah,
men
bro.
carry no
right.
resentment.
Listen. Hold on. It's the women that. So, let me qualify it. So naturally, women are going to take longer to do it, but start asking like you remember. So for every action, there needs to be a equal but opposite reaction. It's not only true in physics. That is true in sociology and our interactions with each other as people. So if moms are going to fuck up so bad and not teach their daughters relationships, turn them against their father and all that, that is going to have an opposite reaction on the other end. And what happens with women is that by the time they failed at all these relationships, when everything that was supposed to be instilled in them, and let's say taking care of your parents when they're old, they are going to reject that ideology. The fuck
That
I got to
part is
take care
true.
of you for?
That is true. But let me quantify what you said,
Nah,
because you're. I'm not disagreeing with
I,
you saying you're wrong, but your time frame is off. The best time to find out if a girl likes her mother is the
Mhm.
ages 14 to 18. Before she has kids, before
They
she
hate their moms though,
yeah,
don't they?
yeah, that's what my experience. They say
They
they
hate
hate their
their mama.
mama. They get pregnant, and then her mama best friends.
now they
Now she
traumatized.
beefing. Now she beefing with the baby daddy
Right.
that she just had that she having a child with.
You got to
So
get
I
them
mean,
before
she
the
she
trauma.
flip flopping.
I mean, they're gonna flip
yo,
flop anyway. But when I was mentoring elementary schools and I'm listening to 15-year-old eighth graders, I'm still amazed 15 eighth grade. But anyway, 15-year-old eighth graders talking about they want to get pregnant so they can have somebody to love because they never felt love. They'll say that at 15. They'll say at 18, you'll see videos on social media, daughters cussing out their mothers. By the time them girls get some bills and some good weenie, next thing you know, I remember being 24 and sleeping with a girl that's 20 and a 36-year-old mama. You know what I'm saying? They
mm,
partying together, both wearing matching cats.
exactly.
You got to get them in like the same ages. Well, I'm out the game, but the same ages that women are saying that you shouldn't talk, that they're telling their daughters don't take men seriously, is the age they should be taking men seriously.
Yep. Trigger Mike, think
That's
about it.
absolutely the age. You're right.
Trigger Mike, think about it. I didn't say it on here before that my mother is 55 years old and she still go to the clubs with my sisters.
What
You
the
feel me?
yo? That
Yeah,
I'm.
yeah.
God
So
damn.
that's what I'm saying. Like there's women that do this, right? You got seven. Like people always say, well, it's YouTube. I don't see this shit. Yo, that's bull crap. People play blind and stupid until shit hit the fan. You got 70-year-old women shaking their ass,
So
literally,
let me.
constantly.
Yeah, that shit is. I actually see that shit on like TikTok. Shit is kind of disgusting because I think it's a joke, but she's literally setting the camera up and then doing the little bend over shit. I'm like, yo, Susie, uh, you know Medicare don't pay for them knees when you blow them out twerking, okay? So let's just understand that right nicely. All right. Let me ask this next question and let me preface it correctly. How does society view Black unmarried people older than 35 years of age? The reason that I asked this is because I told y'all I've noticed that whenever I walk into somewhere, I live in a very affluent neighborhood, lots of Indians, actually mixed. It's actually Indians, whites, Africans, some Black elite people here, but white people especially, and Indians do it too. Whenever a Black man that's shaped like me, big build, you know what I mean, kind of modern haircut, beard, they do this thing where they pause because they want to know the type of Black person you are. is this a nigga or is this a black person? So that's why I said you kind of got to be accustomed to saying hi first and be like, good afternoon, everyone. And then they kind of unlock their mode, like, hello, how are you? You see what I'm saying? Because
that's the most vulgar thing I've ever heard.
What I realize is that not only me, but I watch people. Because I do this show and stuff, I like to watch people and their reactions to stuff. Whenever they see me and my wife, what do you think the first thing, and our children, what do you think the first thing they do to my wife? The first thing they look at on her?
Her ring.
Her hand for her ring.
They literally always look at her ring finger. I don't think they do that to other races of people. I don't think they do that.
I think everybody.
They do.
Everybody looks for a ring finger. I wear a fake ring sometimes to get black girls because they love breaking up families. Here's the thing, bro. I understand what you're saying. This is, if we're gonna say the comedians are the last bastions of truth tellers, right? When I listen to non-black comedians, because all black comedians, they whole set be about trauma. They mama beating them up and all type of stuff, and they try to make it funny. You know what I'm saying? Because anyway, but when you listen to non-black comedians talk about black people, when they're not cracking jokes about protest, they talk about the ease in which they talk to black men. Because normally when they meet a black man, they meet them in college or they meet them on the job. So they meet men doing men stuff and treat them as such. Every story I hear, it's always a black woman joke, and they try to walk that line between not being offensive, but while talking about the offensive things that they do. Like, black women have a very bad reputation, and black men have a bad reputation as being the only men that don't check their women.
I ain't got that reputation in this house.
Oh no, I think we check. I think we check women, but they don't want to be checked. That's the problem. They'd rather
no. So we got to understand that. So we have to understand that if most men grew up being desensitized to their true masculine nature simply because they grew up in their mother's house alone, they don't understand. They don't have the ability. They, like, my son, this is just the craziest thing. I don't yell at my, like, literally, it's easy to see when children grow up in a two-parent household how they naturally start to develop their capabilities for marriage later on in life. My son will go to his mom and like do this thing where he look at me and whisper in her ear because he don't want it. He knows I'm gonna tell her he can't have it. If she tries to overrule me, I'll be like, fuck. I already said, and then she'll look at him and be like, I told you, little boy, he's not gonna go for it. They already know that. So he can see when he is in his own home, don't ever overrule me on anything. Don't challenge me in front of my kid. This was innate in me because it's what I saw my mom and dad do, right? But they don't have that example at all. In fact, the mother purposely, like, you understand that women need to they need to make boys sensitive because they're the one thing they've been dreaming about their entire life is having control over a man. They can't actually do it in natural society. So the one person they want to make listen and want to make bend to their will is their son. That's why fathers are important. So they don't have the ability to check. Like, that's why, like, this is why it's going to be really tough for black women, because for some reason, whenever they talk about other men wanting them, ain't no man on this earth going to put up with your shit other than a black man. It's actually bad that black men put up with your shit.
Well, I think every man is getting other women from different countries. They're just not getting them here in the U.S. They're not doing it. They're not coming here to the country and picking these females up like that. Not at all.
But black men are the only one that's actually get cherished from other races, from what I've seen. And I dated out.
Okay, well, hang on a second.
I ain't never seen nobody just check.
So what are the marital rates for men who marry women outside of our community? Because I get what you guys are saying. That works dating.
What are the marital rates?
I don't know
where the marriages at.
I don't know what the rates are.
You're talking about outside our community, right?
Yeah, because we're talking about
so just say I think right now it just increased to like 82%. I mean, like 17, maybe 18% in our community. It was 90, then it jumped to 85. Now it's 82. That's literally married, and on average, the marriages last up to 25 plus years.
You saying it backwards,
Wait,
but I
what?
get what you're going. He's saying it
Yeah,
backwards.
that doesn't sound
Outside,
right.
you said outside. You said outside, right?
But you're giving inside, so it's reverse. So if I said 11%, because that's what it was, and then he's saying it's jumped, so it's up to 18.
It jumped. It's up to 18. I think 18.
82%. He mean
no.
Yeah,
Let's get it
82%.
straight now. What are you saying?
So 82% are with black people, but the other 18% is outside. You know what I'm saying? And them marriages last over 25 years. They already, they on average, literally. It's increasing more and more. You can go to blackdemographics.com.
That's not on Black Demographics. I was just looking at that. It's
on there. It's on there.
No, they give you the marriage rates. They give you the marriage rates. They don't tell you how long those marriages last.
No.
What's that specifically? How long marriages are lasting?
No, what is the percentage of men who are actually marrying women outside of our culture? Because again, we're making
that is on Black Demographics.
We're painting not that. We're painting this narrative that when we leave our community, things are all good. But yet and still, when you look at other communities, dating and marriage is very much racist. People tend to stick to their own. And they don't. That's rare that they go outside of their own race.
It's not rare.
So on average, on average, yes. On average, yes. There's always going to be a minority that date out, though.
So that's my point, though, is that if we're are we talking about the exception here? Is that what we're doing, or are we trying to cover the general?
Let me chime in. If I could chime in, let me chime in on this.
Hey,
First of all, interracial marriage, interfaith marriage, it's not rare anymore. It's just it's not just an exception, but it's still not the rule. But you can see by sheer love power, the world has gotten a lot smaller. There's all kinds of interracial, interfaith, internationality marriage going on everywhere, because the difference between man and woman, black and white, and all this other horse shit that we divide ourselves with is very, very small. A lot of the stuff that we want, we have more in common than we have in uncommon. And that's why segregation was so big with white people. It wasn't for any other thing, because they know when you put people together, they're gonna be stroking. Period. I mean, that's the bottom line. I mean, so I said what?
Not to cut you off. You know the irony about interracial dating that I think is hilarious? What made interracial dating illegal was black women after slavery in mass was trying to date so many white men that white women was like, George, you better stop this bull. And that's how you get all licenses, really. But that's how marriage licenses, all licenses are racist, gun license, everything. But that's how marriage licenses came about, just so they can tabulate what your ethnicity was, so that black women couldn't marry white men, right?
Yeah, they start hitting that shit from the back and was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Shit.
And then the irony is,
this look way better. They don't got no facts.
Stopped it too. Levin versus Virginia was a black woman wanting to be with a white man. So
Susan don't got nothing. Don't jiggle like this.
It's a woman thing, but black men date out interracially and get married interracially more than black women, even though that was their fight. So even with interracial should have been a better. That's just hilarious to me, bro.
So to speak to what Triple M was saying, even when people, so you have to work. You're right. Those numbers, they do exist somewhere, but I've worked them out by myself. And this is something that black women like to use as a dagger to black men. Like, even when y'all date out, y'all marriages don't be lasting. So that's actually true. Well, don't be lasting as long as everybody else's. Because the one thing that we can't, for some reason, everybody that speaks on YouTube, especially black women, they do not understand correlations. Y'all didn't take that class in like high school or college or something. Y'all don't understand how everything is correlated. If 70% of black men black men and women grew up in a single mother-led home with no example of marriage, their marriages will fail at the highest rate. So this is the one thing in every culture that has a high. So this is what I did. Has a high chance of the marriage succeeding. Those people have the highest rates of two-parent home. It's even black people now who come from two-parent homes keep their families together. So the groups that you can find, go find somewhere 6,000 1,000 black people who came from single parent homes. You will see an extremely high or better than normal rate of them creating their own family, staying in the house with one wife, all of that. So that's the way we got to look at it. The things that are present with culture, with the people that keep their families together, are culture, religious adherence, meaning marriage is tied to whatever religion it is. In Islam, they don't play. If it's Islam, you just understand that they're probably not getting divorced that much if it's Islam. And the model for marriage inside of the home. Those are like the three greatest factors that I've worked it out myself that are contributed to the people who keep their family together. So, if black people suddenly, like I said, if we stop counting everybody else and started creating a smaller community where it's kids that want to have their head on straight, that value good education, the women value actually know the value and nature of men and are willing to work with them, not leave them, not divorce them, you will see our rates shoot through the roof. It's all the people that want to try marriage out that's fucking up the black community.
The difference is in every community except ours, they have not been indoctrinated from jump that they don't need a man and that a man has the only value a man has is to provide for everything for you and that you're not to provide anything in return. No, they haven't been indoctrinated like in other tribes to say your man is less than and you're strong. We don't see the strong Asian woman. We don't see the strong white woman. We don't see this word strength being applied to women except for black women who claim strength and independence. Okay, no other women do these things.
I got to push back on that.
Go for it.
I say this all the time. There's a difference between ideologies, right? Liberal women of any ethnicity act like Keisha. Keisha is the only difference is that white people have Karen and Becky. Mexicans have Lulu and Maria. You just got Keisha. There's no Amber. So
that's true.
So, but anytime I see a purple-haired white girl, she probably from a single mother about to ruin somebody's life. Like, you know what I'm saying? All school shooters are from single parent homes. You know what I'm saying? Like, the single mother correlation is there all across the board, but nobody in order to have a community, and that's why I don't use color with community. I don't say black community. In order to have a community, it's to commune in unity. It's in the word, right? You got to get along with your neighbors. Y'all got something in common. You know what I'm saying? You got your next door neighbor to help you build your barn or whatever the case may be. You commune in unity. How many people do black women get along with? Do they have friends from third grade?
I'm confused. Where's the pushback to what I said?
No, the pushback was that no other race of women are taught that you don't need a man, and I'm saying they are taught, just not in the magnitude.
No. Where in any other community do you see women saying I don't need a man? Wait. I'm strong and independent. I'm strong and independent. I'm stronger than my. Okay, look. That's a black girl. Maybe I'm not saying this like expressively enough, but when you're preaching, when you have a community of women that preaches that they are strong, they're not saying they're strong. They're saying they're stronger than their men.
And here's the funny thing: white women believe them. Not literally. No,
there's no other community that preaches that. There's no other community of women that preaches that they are stronger than their men.
You know what I like to watch?
EBD. White women do it.
So do what?
Tommy
Lauren said something disparaging about white men, and she apologized 24 hours.
Well, hold on. She's EBD. She's a conservative. White liberal women are the second worst group of women in the United States of America. So you're right. It's not the talking point. That is a black woman, I'm gonna sing it out type of thing. White women are just as bad. They have different phrases that they cling to.
Yeah, white women they say they stronger than that they don't need no man, but they go back to their house to their husband.
They don't preach. They say that shit. Independence.
No, they do, but they go back home to their husband at the end of the night. Black women are the only ones that act like that believe the funk. white
That's
women
right.
say it, but they take their ass right back in
No,
their
no, no.
house.
Black women
And they leave that shit outside.
They preach it and they teach it to their daughters.
No, he's agreeing with you.
White women do too. White women do too, but they leave that shit out. Listen, EBD, I get what you're saying.
I just don't see that in
I
any.
I know you don't. But that's how good. That's called a chameleon.
Hold on, y'all. One more. So we got to understand. Look at the marital rates. White women are the second worst, and they're it's literally half. So at the next worst, they still are twice as married. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? So it may seem like you don't see it because black women are that bad at it, meaning like 1 in 4 under 60. I'm sorry, 1 in 4 completely are married, and it's like 1 in 10 under 60 are married. And then with white women, it's just half of them are married, half of them are not. So it's not as bad, nowhere near as bad. But the shit is the white women are pretty terrible. And the worst part is that let a white woman tell you how. Let a white conservative woman tell you how bad white liberal women are, and you'll understand.
Yeah, but the point is that white women still wait. The point is that white women in general still appreciate the cover of their white man. I don't care where they fall, man. Do you know what it is, Mike? You're saying this thing in general. White women still understand it. You know. Yeah. Okay, go ahead, Mike. Go ahead.
No, I'm saying. Remember what I said though. White people, in a sense, still have a culture about marriage. The thing that I've noticed, because I grew up around whites, this is an anecdote. White mothers, they still have a culture where you are not viewed as a great mother if you cannot create a marriageable daughter. So they still get shamed for if you can't pass your daughter off and your daughter's out here being a 304. There are still enough conservative white women to say, if you don't get married, Becky, you make me look crazy. So their mom is on their ass about that. Black mothers are not doing that shit.
That's more like
well, you know what, guys, I want to make my final point here because I do have to go. But it's interesting, Mike, you sound like you're saying the same thing I said back at the beginning, that we need to focus on raising our kids so that they can work together. I know I said that like at the very start, but look, guys, it's been a great conversation. I appreciate your time. Mike, thank you for inviting me up. I know, but I do have to go. Hey, thank you guys. I had a great time.
Hey, thanks.
The only pushback I want to have, not to MMM. It's not even a pushback to what Ashton said. Just a correction. He said that they say all that stuff and then they go home to their husband. I say they go back to their dorm because they do that bullshit in college. But by the time they 23, it's time to graduate. They like, yo, I'm about to go to the engineering department and find me a husband.
Yeah,
right.
But they go back to their dorm with it. I'm with you. I don't know if they go back to their
So apparently they understand the value of a man or finding a good man, right? Of some kind of stature, and they understand forever, right? They understand a marriage is forever or what have you.
Or whatever.
I mean, just it is what it is, but they don't have this, they don't come with a preconceived notion that all men are either weak or they're trash, or preaching that they're strong and that they don't need a man, right? That's just not what we're seeing on the average or on the typical. Yes, there's a minority of some that are on there, whatever, right? But we're talking about averages, and we're talking about the typical, what we see every day.
You know, so let me chime in on that. One of the biggest differences that black women, as much as they say they multitask, they act like they can't get an advanced degree or a PhD and be married at the same time. It's a falsehood. It's a falsehood. Yeah. Or that a man needs to be at the finish line before you marry him.
Absolutely.
Right? You know, all that shit is falsehood.
Do you know?
So wait a minute. A lot of people are products of social media. So all I'm just trying to say is they take this shit to the extremes. So there's something that you said, Dirty Folks, that I agree with. We didn't talk about it enough because I have daughters, and this is where I think I fail. But all the men I know who are my age that have sons or a pool of guys, because I know their families that they're vetted at some length. I didn't start trying to not porn, but at least trying to introduce my daughters to those households where they might have sons, where they might be able to cleave to these guys to try to have a semi-arranged kind of marriage. Now, I would tell guys that if you want your daughter to have the best success for finding a guy, your peers is a group that you should be looking in at your age. And if they have sons, or if you have daughters that's the age of your children, it's good to have those cookouts, those introductions, those kind of things to see if you could kind of pair them up to see if anything happens. Because I know a couple of arranged marriage, kind of arranged marriage with people, even in my age, 10 years ago, 5 years ago. So that's where I think I failed my kids. Because I have a whole fraternity full of guys that's my peers who have kids.
See, that's
Pain. It's not your job. Your wife's supposed to do that.
No. It's his job. Look,
that's my job.
There you go, giving girls, making them think. Look, because here's the thing, if me and because I got a lodge full and a frat full of brothers. I'm an alpha and a mix, so I know good dudes. So it's better for me to love your daughter like mine because I love you as a brother, and now we have that nucleus. You know what I'm saying? Than to have my daughter try to figure out how to get it, because she knows dad, but she don't know who dad was before he had unprotected sex to make her. You know what I'm saying? So it's best to have two sets of because men know what's going on. Perfect example, my boy, he works at the railroad. Railroad sometimes that's like 36 hours on, 48 hours or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So we sleep. His wife and daughter timed when his daughter's boyfriend could date around his work schedule. She dated that boy for 2 years. He never met the boy. The boy never came by when he was off work, right? He's trusting his wife, like, how was the boy? Hey, he's a good kid. I like him. He's charming. He called off work one day because he was sick. The boy popped up. I guess they didn't have time to tell him not to come. He said the boy had tattoos all on his face, ain't had no job. He a card cracker. It was like, what the hell y'all doing over here? Well, he is a charming young boy. Mama looking at him like, would I sleep with this boy? Which she probably would have in her day. You know what I'm saying? He looking like, yo, ain't no way in the world you can provide for my daughter. You don't even have a clue. You know what I'm saying? The way that men judge other men is totally different than the way that women would vet the same. That's why women's supposed to vet the girls. You know what I'm saying? They're supposed to let their natural hatred of other women come through to let you know if this is a bad seed or not. But yeah, I don't. I wouldn't trust a girl to vet a guy. I would.
All right, y'all.
Never.
Let's get final thoughts in here. No Cupcake, can you come on cam real quick in the back and give me a thumbs up? What you got for us before we get up out of here? No Cupcake Zone.
No, I was just about to ask a question because I've been watching like a lot of TikTok and stuff like that, and I mean, is there a regression, like a regression that's accelerated by the women? Because it almost seemed like they're saying like such egregious stuff to, like, I don't know if it's just for attention. Like, I mean, it just seemed like they just regressed. Like these podcasts and all this information that we're giving them is actually making them go backwards.
I agree. So what really is happening is that it is, so that's a perfect word. It's a regression. And the worst part about it is that I keep telling women this. I don't like when Mr. Let Go calls women children. I don't really like it.
Yeah, I heard he stole
necessarily. But it's not. So when women be like, so you agree women aren't children? I'll be like, no, pause. It ain't that he's right. Women have a hard time proving him wrong.
Okay.
And a part of that regression is the stuff they say out of their own goddamn mouth. It's like, do you not understand, like I said, correlation between behavior and outcome? Like, do you not realize that every effect has a cause? Like, so whenever they get in these spaces and they start saying these things, what I want you to realize is that everything that they talk about is attached to their personal freedom. And they don't realize that nobody has ever benefited from too much freedom. Dirty folks said it. Women actually need to be controlled. In fact, they want to be. That is the second biggest talking point they have on YouTube about how men can't. Why don't somebody step up? They're not saying step up and take charge. They're saying step up and control me. They want to be controlled, but they keep making statements that are basically the antithesis of control because they think they don't understand that personal freedom and control cannot exist in the same realm. So that you're right. It is absolutely a regression. Every time they open their mouth, and especially when they get on panels together, they set the Black community back another 5 years.
I just have one question for the panel, and this is very hard to say, but I don't know the right way to say it without sounding like a scumbag. But
go for it.
But you know, like the United States is relatively young. You know, it's about 300 years old or whatever, right?
It is young.
You've had cultures like Eastern cultures that are way more restrictive on women, and you know, I mean, have they kind of got it right and we're kind of getting it wrong? What do you guys think about that?
Okay, to a certain extent, to the first point, I don't think that women regressed. I think they plateau. When you speak to a girl, the greatest age to talk to any female is 12 years old. They tell you about their science fair project. You know what I'm saying? They're very entertaining at 12. Once they period drop and you buy them a training bra, they plateau. So they act the same at 15 as they do at 71 on TikTok. It's not a regression. They never progress. Men are steadily developing our tasks and skills, and women they may come up in income, but they don't come up in emotional maturity. They plateau somewhere around the age where they let grown men pick them up from high school and box Chevys, right? To answer your other question, my opinion, as far as restriction of culture goes, that's a white boy problem. I think what Black people do is try to be the antithesis of white. Everybody else has a culture that's based on what's best for the men. And then as a man, you take care of your woman and your children. And because I rock with you in this commune of unity, I'll look after your child and hope that you look after mine. So we have safe community, right? But it's based on the men being able to provide for the community, for their girl and their kids. And you know, if I see your kid, that's what's up. I'll give him a ride home too, right? You white men are really cuckold, like really cuckold. Like 22 out of 25 race wars was over a woman, either a Black woman or a white woman. You know what I'm saying? It's not over economics. It's not over race. It's about he whistled at a white girl or a Black girl get pregnant by a white guy, and now they got to pick a nick. You know what I'm saying? It's a real. So you look at the 1960s, and Black men started putting their masculinity based on a woman. So they say, yo, white men burn down our towns over their white women. We'll be men if we protect Black women. And Black women took advantage of that. They don't realize that Black culture is nothing but trailer park culture with a tan. And it was the trailer park white boys that was doing that. The other white, they wasn't doing that. It was a trailer park, you know what I'm saying, Bud Light drinkers that was doing that. You know what I'm saying? And matter of fact, it was the other ones that was stopping them. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't the Black guys that was stopping. It was the other white people like, yo, these trailer park dudes got out of control again. We got to go stop these white boys again. You know what I'm saying? Y'all, the perception that you guys have is of being Black is a unity thing, but no group is united. Even when y'all call whites are only whites around you. When they run amongst each other, they Irish, Italian, Polish, Scandinavian, whatever they are. Y'all just a crayon. You know what I'm saying? Even a matching crayon, because ain't not, all us can say Black and everybody a different shade. You know what I'm saying? Your kid a failed kindergarten if they called all us Black at the same time. You know what I'm saying? Men have to come up with a culture that works for men, and girls will sleep with the women. So I think they have it right in the point of what is your skill set? What are you known for? Right? So if I say landscaping and landscaping and street vendors, what ethnicity would come to your mind?
Mexican.
All right,
Guatemalan or
if I say gas station and liquor store, what ethnicity come to mind?
Arab,
Chinese, Arab, yeah,
or Indian,
or Indian.
Asian. Actually, all of Asia, any
Asia.
country in Asia, all of Asia,
all of Asia, from the Philippines. All right, cool. If I say drug dealer and entertainer, what race will come to your mind?
You're right.
Nigga.
So first of all,
I walk in that Korean store.
Nigga.
So you got to decide as a small tribe, what your name gonna be, what you're gonna be known for, and then you sell your export to the world, and then everybody will respect you as such. Instead of trying to take up for every goddamn color, be like, yo, I don't even care about them colors. White people don't care about their worst. Nobody care about their trailer park people.
Nope.
You know what I'm saying? The fact that your community, no matter how great you do, 80% of black men are doing just fine. 80% of black people are doing just fine.
Yep.
The fact that you compare your race to your bottom 20%, the fact I can say drug dealer and athlete, it got a 0.01 chance of being an athlete. And I mean, you only got like a 3-year run being a drug dealer, but everybody be like, but most of them was in IT, working at the factory, truck driving is big. Like everybody do something different. But the way that your identity is placed on what a 16-year-old girl wants to date is the problem with your culture. Because 16-year-old girls love basketball players and funny dudes and drug dealers and niggas with box Chevys. That's what 16-year-old girls do. So they plateau, and then the whole ethnicity, the whole culture plateaus at her 15, 16-year-old level.
When
you know what I'm saying?
But the thing is, other cultures are not so accommodating. It's just like with black,
right?
It's endless. It's so endless of what we will let them. The thing about it is if, for instance, if an Indian girl gets pregnant, by somebody who like she's shunned. Like we don't do that type. We don't shun nobody.
Who is the weak?
But they know they can't get pregnant. It's black girls that get pregnant at 16 and think that shit cute. Yeah. I know damn well I couldn't bring no baby in my mama's house until I at least got out of high school. I couldn't even get my ears pierced. So how the hell these girls think it's cute to get pregnant with no job, no car? It's still in high school.
It's only their mom in the house. That's why.
Exactly.
Only their mom in the
house.
A
hard ass reset, like I said at the beginning.
And here's the thing, because only men are tribal. You know what I'm saying? To EBD, keep calling everybody tribe. And I like the word tribe. That's why I'm kind of protective of it. I ain't saying you're wrong. I'm just protective of the word. When you start talking about tribes, clans, gangs, groups, whatever, from a college dorm, you're not gonna bring your gamma ass into this Q dog fraternity house. You're just not. You're not. The Crips are not gonna come into the Blood neighborhood. The Vice Lords are not gonna come into this GD set. Men are very protective of their tribal area. So when you say that other groups aren't accommodating to coloreds, why would they be?
No. What I'm saying is for instance, when I'm talking about the dynamic between men and women, like like other cultures are way more restrictive. Like what I'm saying is like it used to be like that. You like if you had a baby out of wedlock, you were shunned. Like Indians and like Asians, they don't play that. I mean,
they don't play that shit.
I said earlier that black people need more DV, and y'all looked at me crazy. What you think they doing over there? They whippings, timeouts, take their allowance. They got sanctions. Y'all want to shun people to death. These girls ain't got no shame. How you gonna shun somebody with no shame? You know what I'm saying? You got to starve them out, put them in the closet or something. That's what they do to you. That's what jail is. A man's jail is a girl closet. Put in the closet. Whatever you're gonna do, you need to show some type of penalty so they don't do that dumb stuff. When there's no penalty, then all actions are okay. I'll give you a perfect example. And this is the problem with being raised by a single mother. Men have rules. Whether or not you like the rules, whether or not he's too strict, you can say whatever, right? If he's too strict, you move out at 17, whatever. Men have rules. Women have feelings. So I can do something at home and that's cool. But if I do it outside and it embarrasses mom, you will get whipped outside for the same thing that she allowed in the house, because it's all about how she feels. It's not about this is what's popping, right? So you put yourself in a situation where if everything goes, then everything's off the table. I know what you're talking about. You're talking about when there was two parents, when you would send your 16-year-old kid to Mississippi and she come back next year with a new little brother and you raise the baby like it's your kid and they find out when they grown that their big sister was really their mama.
Yeah.
That shit is more common than I fucking realized.
But you know what? No, I mean, I think the other cultures. I mean, I don't even know if they'll do that type of stuff. I mean, like again, we're always finding a way to accommodate bad behavior. Like, you know, like for instance, straight up, like like some Asian cultures, like you straight up can't come around. You can't come around. Period. You or that kid. You know,
listen, we have lost without. That's why I said there is no point talking about a fix until you get until you fix the black family structure. If you don't even want a traditional family structure, the men must be in charge of the children, period. And especially at a certain part of their life, men like I think in the small hat community, the men do a bulk of the interfacing with the children in their teenage years. I mean, what the hell their mom got to tell them? All that nurturing and coddling them and let me kiss you. Well, that shit's over. It's real life time. It's time to learn about consequences for your actions, and it's time to actually feel some of them shits.
Like, so, Mike, let me get some of my final thoughts in since we're doing that. One, if we're talking about solutions under these dire straits, how do we get? One of the questions is how do we get more men involved in the homes? And we need to talk about that more. How do we change legislation so it's favorable for men to want to get married? Mm-hmm. You know, what kind of social movement that has to take place for us to do that kind of stuff with all the laws on the books? We know what's going on in Michigan, where, you know, they could just put a name on a birth certificate and a man has to pay child support. This shit that should be completely unconstitutional right from the jump. But who's the advocates at the right level? How do we detach ourselves from the Democratic Party and the black woman who benefit from those liberal goddamn policies that are detriment to our families and all that kind of stuff? There's got to be a hard break. It's like a revolutionary thing that needs to take place with men, not just standing on the square, not just having standards for women that we need to stick by, even if we're horny, right? And those kind of things. Because one of the things, when I was looking to get married, I stopped trying to smash women that didn't fit the qualifications until I found a woman I wanted to court. A lot of guys say, you're crazy. What did you do in the meantime? Well, shit, for almost a year, I had to go without getting laid. Because I was, you know, I wasn't, until I, you know, because I didn't want to interrupt my mental psyche.
No, you're absolutely right. But
you're right on that.
I would have bought stock and some lotion. Good God Almighty.
Well, shit, man, we've been accustomed to doing that since 13 years old. You know what I'm saying? You know, so what I'm just trying to say, it was a sacrifice. But you know, I've been married for a long time since that. When I found a woman, then it was no holds barred until she never eliminated herself under my thought process. And then we got married with them. We got engaged for 5 months, married a year later, after her father said, yeah, you know, you're worthy enough to marry my daughter. And he paid for the wedding.
Hell yeah. Can we get that back? Can we get that back?
No.
You know, so, you know, anyway, so that's it. I'm going to land it there. But we need to start talking about solutions, because we know a lot of us, and dirty folks, man, it's good that you came up, because a lot of stuff you said is cool. But we need to say, under all of this shit, how do we solve whatever problem we need to solve?
That's facts. All right, y'all. So anyway, I'll get out of here. My black ass is literally my stomach. I don't be eating breakfast and I be coming up here with y'all. Nigga about to pass out in this chair. All right, we out of here, y'all. Appreciate y'all for coming up.
Trigger.
We'll be back tomorrow for Trigger Mike Fridays. All right, y'all. Thank y'all for coming through. Tonight we got the big show, Lapeef Let's Talk. I will be hosting that show. For all of you Lapeef Let's Talk fans, make sure y'all come through. Set your reminders. We bringing back a lot of your favorite people on that show. So from the previous weeks, y'all spoke, y'all liked them. We gonna have dope topics for you all over that show tonight. I will be hosting once again. So if you are a Trigger Mike fan, I expect to see you there. Make sure you drop a super chat. This information, we be giving y'all fire. All right, y'all need to support this show as well. I be seeing y'all on other people's show. I don't be asking for super chats because I expect y'all to support, because I know y'all love to support your people. But thank y'all for tuning in. I love reading the chat. I like everything y'all have to say. Even some of you freaking haters in the chat. Even your dialogue is necessary and welcome on the Trigger Mike Show. Sometimes hard to read, be making my eyeballs bleed, but I still love y'all anyway. Thank y'all for always coming through and staying faithful. We'll see you tomorrow with another hot topic on the Trigger Mike Show. I am out. Catch y'all later tonight on Lapeef Let's Talk. See you there.